Yeah, dude. It's the quiet before the storm. And shoot. We should have done the cheers.
Oh, that would have been good.
We'll have that set up for next time.
Yeah,
so,
perfect.
hey, cheers.
Welcome. Cheers, everyone.
Happy
Friday.
Thursday.
Oh, jeez.
It's almost Friday.
It's almost Friday.
It's
You can tell where my mind's at.
A grenade
It's at
throw Friday. I needed a little bit of that.
Thank you.
We always say the same thing. Yeah, I did not mix a drink today. This is straight whiskey,
We're
sir.
having straight whiskey on ice.
It's a straight whiskey night, everyone. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us. As always, you saw Ryan and I talking right before the stream. We love this.
Yeah.
It's fun to be able to have a conversation, be able to look at some news. I'd say that this has kept me more current in recent years, just because I'm like, I got to go figure out some things, learn some new things, and be able to share with everyone out there. And so thanks for everyone that's also in our Discord that's been giving a lot of great things lately to watch and read and check out.
Absolutely. And you know what else it's done for me? It's helped me be more intentional about like reading a full article, as opposed to just reading sort of the headline of something and being like, yeah, okay, like, great, I got it. You know, I'm like, oh, I want to be able to talk intelligently about it and know sort of the full nuance of a story. And sometimes, I mean, maybe that's an AI summary of that, but hey, I'm diving more into them than I was previously.
You're getting into depth. It's not just a doom scroll kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hey, as always, we got the great format for tonight. We got news up front.
Woo! Lots of news, fun news tonight.
Lots of news. I don't even know how we got that much news.
It was just popcorning into this Trello board all week.
It was good. A lot of good things, and I've been like purposeful to try to not do just AI news. So I try to get a little bit more out there. There were some cool things that have happened in the last week or two here in terms of like technology and fun things that are going on in life. And
fun robot videos we got.
Oh,
man,
God.
if you haven't seen some of these robot videos, so fun.
And then we even have a 3D printing discussion. I mean, this used to be what this came from.
I
this
know,
show, but,
right? That's what it's back to our roots.
Yeah, absolutely. So tonight's main topic, if you're sticking around for the topic, we hope you do. And if not, and you're listening to us on the podcast, we'd love to have you join us on our Discord and Double Drop Down. But we're going to be talking about the last human skills. And so we've talked a lot about AI on this show. And so we always have some sort of thread that has similarity to it. But the idea that we're starting to drop some of the skills that we would spend a lot of time learning or utilizing across time and now can be instantly done with AI. And how do we make that feel? And what are the last human skills that might survive AI that AI can't take over? So I'm really excited about the conversation.
Yeah, me too. It was a fun one to dive into. And I have many hot takes in the middle section of this for sure. It's going to be great.
For sure. Well, it's one of those things too where the pressure on picking the topic is always like back and forth.
It's true.
So after tonight, I'm like, got a 2-week break.
Me too. I do that exact thing. I go, boo. I just throw up my hands and go, wonderful. I'll just let Adam pick whatever the heck he wants to do, and I'll just lead along. Nice. Okay, yeah, I think it's gonna be a great show. We're excited, and maybe a little Jackbox at the end if you're sticking around.
We've had some requests for Jackbox.
We have two requests from people close to the show that would like to play some Jackbox. But before then, and before we get to anything else, thank you all for being in the chat. And we have a question for you.
Let's cheers to the chat because we got a cheers for Michael Azul. We got to do that in the chat as well. So, cheers. Ryan is a beast with his 25 months here. Nice. I'm gonna start to get this hype train going.
Hype train.
We almost got it. We almost got hype train, and we got what was last time actually?
Yeah, no, I
thought
it was
raid.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. We got rated.
We did.
Our first raid.
I like that. It was fun. I don't know if anybody was
stuck around or anything, but whatever.
It was all good. It was a fun time. Anyways, yeah, question for humans.
So we got a question for human tonight. We will do one from the deck and one from Adam and I's, a stockpile of questions. First one up, what's a fashion trend that needs to die? A fashion trend that needs to die.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you in the chat. So, doesn't fashion just repeat itself?
It's very circular for sure. I feel like baggy clothes are back, right?
They are.
Like sort of way baggier. I feel like I've seen plenty of girls that look like they should be in like SS Tricky snowboarding video games with like
nice.
They're like dressing like Gwen Stefani from No Doubt. I feel like I see a lot of that. I don't know. Is there a current fashion trend that you I don't know. Is this question basically saying what one don't you like?
Yeah, I was gonna say that because as we start to think about these things, is that I don't want to like call somebody out and be like, hey, sure. I don't like it when you wear X.
Right.
As I've gotten older, the Janko jeans was a like I was be like, you know what? That probably shouldn't come back. Let's just leave that in the 90s and enjoy what it was.
But it's almost like there's only so many styles of ways that you can wear jeans, right? Like you can wear them tight, right? And you can have that sort of whole trend that we went to of skinny jeans for a long time, or you can have them sort of more baggy, I guess low rise jeans.
Puff vest.
Puffy vest. Yeah, puffy vest.
I like that. That's a good one, chat. All right, I got one that I've always done for my entire life, and that's socks and sandals. And I'm sorry, I'm just like not about it.
Really?
Like
there's no. I mean, because obviously there's like the white tube socks with that old men wear with sandals, but you can't envision any sort of sock that would go with the sandals.
So yeah, I think I appreciate this. There's some clarification.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't get you on the record here.
Probably the only thing that I find acceptable in terms of socks and sandals is the slip-on sandals if you're a sports player. So if you've taken off your cleats and you slip on your sandals and you're going between there, like totally acceptable.
I see.
But if you're gonna go and put on a pair of purple sandals with a little toe separator and shove those in there, done. You're dead to me. Don't do it. Yes. I mean, even. What about you? You have any thoughts?
I was trying to think of something that annoyed me more than anything else. I would say I wish the sort of tiny backpack, maybe like the little itty bitty backpack. Like I always dislike those, and I feel like that is sort of coming back slightly, which I always didn't like. I'm also gonna say having headphones on all the time as like a fashion accessory.
Do people just wear those as fashion accessories?
Yeah, like just like around like fashionable headphones that you just wear as you're walking. I saw a lot of that in Las Vegas as people were like that goes with their outfit and everything. And I'm like,
I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm so out of it. I see the chat has a couple too. Toe socks and toe shoes. I gotta kind of agree with the toe shoes. Like if it's your thing, I get it. It may have like a function, but
sure.
Not my fashion trend.
My wife Kathy was big into toe shoes for a while, and I feel like she liked them and enjoyed doing it, but almost like felt so much social pressure the toe shoes were not cool that she's like, I'm not going to keep buying these. So when that pair wore out,
what about toe shoes and sandals?
Oh man, it's the ultimate sin. Okay.
All right, I have one.
Yeah, do you have one? Because I don't have one ready to go.
So here was mine. I gotta edit and take this out before I do that. Oh man, I thought I had it. Oh yeah, here it is. What's something that feels main character to you, even if it's small? So like main character energy.
Like
so something that either you do that makes you feel that way, or something that somebody else does that you're just like, huh?
And we're talking main characters, and like that's like a bad thing in this
scenario. Could be good or bad. There's no like positivity or negativity. So something that would indicate it. So for instance, when some people are, I don't know if this is an exact one, but if they walk into the room and they're super confident locking down that hallway, and they open the door and they like are dressed in a specific way and they feel like they're the main character. And I mean, that was an example, but is there something that's very specific that seems like that's main character energy?
I would say I have one, and it's anytime we are in public and there's a public foosball table, I feel like Kathy and I's foosball brain just like kicks in, and it takes like half a game to get our memory back. And I feel like we feel like pretty badasses usually when we just show up and be like, oh, someone has a foosball table, we do this, and like we're kick ass at it, and then we just leave, right? And walking in, not knowing anyone, just going up, couple good foosball table, beat everyone, and then haul butt. I'm like, yeah, main character.
No, I love that. I would say, one that I find is main character, and it was a small, because this was the idea on this one, is that when people walk with their laptops, like just pinching the side and like walking it really like no care in the world, and you have it all down to
phone with no case.
Phone with no case.
That's pretty main character energy.
Nothing's gonna happen to me at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. That's a good one. Good one. Okay, I have one. Is there some piece of media from your past that you have a memory of, but you can't find the source of?
Ooh.
So like some game or some show that you watched or some board game that you played, and you're like, I sort of have a memory, but I have absolutely no idea. I saw some people doing this as somebody asked this question, and then they were trying to get it with ChatGPT. Just put in whatever random thing that you could possibly, think of into ChatGPT and try it. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll see.
I'm hoping that somebody's going to be able to help with this one today.
Oh, yeah.
This has been one that
nice.
I've been thinking about.
Okay, so you have one?
Shazam? Oh, yeah, Shazam. Yeah, I do have one.
Okay.
I did not watch a lot of TV as a kid because my parents didn't want me to watch TV, sure. Rot in the brain, whatever. So when I did watch TV, I would binge it at my grandparents' house, and it would be after school because they would pick me up and I'd get to watch. There was some show, and I remember it vividly, like being enamored with it. It was an animated show about some kid and pirates and like this big adventure that they've been going on. And there was and it was super episodic. I wouldn't say it was anime. It didn't seem like it was that vibe.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, it resonated me because I was a kid, and I was like, how awesome is that adventure going to be? And they kept going, through the little cliffhanger every episode.
What age were you?
I was probably around narrow down. 7. So
so it'd be like mid-80s?
Yeah, mid-80s to early 90s.
Yeah.
And I remember I think it was a repeat of a series because it was on for a long time, and there was all kinds of
And the main characters were pirates?
A young boy. And I hate to say that it was actually pirates because that might twist it,
right.
But there was sailing involved,
okay,
and there was adventure involved.
Magic, or was it real life?
I don't remember that factor of it. I just remember being like, this kid has the life because he's snuck away or has done this thing, and this is super vague because the memory I remember coming and watching it and always being like, oh, that episode's on there, and it would always be happening when I get home. And then
there
was a series, and there was some object that, and I want to say it was a medallion that he would use to he had this medallion to go and navigate with these people, and anyways, that was my memory, man. I don't know what it is.
Okay, all right. Well,
help me figure it out.
We'll have to see.
With Sinbad, maybe. What if it was?
Okay, so I have one when I was, I'm gonna say 9 or 10. So I'll say late 80s, early 90s, I played a computer game, and this computer game was on floppy disk or something like that, right? And I remember it being somewhat sort of trying to be educational. It was like a puzzle game. It was sort of a platformer. It was but it was more platformer. It was sort of side scrolling. And I remember one of the parts that I remember very distinctly was that you would solve puzzles, and one of the puzzles was that you had a miner's helmet on, and it would shoot a light, and then you had to turn the little triangles so that when it hit the triangle, it would bounce and bounce and bounce. Yeah, and then it would hit into the thing, and that would let you move on. And that was like in a pyramid sort of level. And I think they were like teaching you about the pyramids a little bit. And then you would go to different levels. And I remember, and it was all puzzles that you did in the inside. I don't remember any of the other levels, but I remember the pyramid one specifically, and I was like, man, if I could go in and play that game, that would be if I could know what the name of that game was. I'm sure I could find some kind of rip of it on the internet, and it would be fun to go and play through it.
That sounds fun.
Yeah,
reminds me of the game we played. What was the game we played like a couple years back? It was a LucasArts game, and it was side scroller. It was story based. And it was puzzles and you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah. God, it was like a single word.
Man, look at our memories here. I mean, they're out
the window.
That's why we had to build some room for all this news that we're gonna talking about here, man. Right. I think it was The Last Dragon was mine. Remember, I found it finally.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And we played it on the stream.
That's right, we did.
But that was the one that I didn't know, and then I had to go, and I think it was a moment of discussion or doing something, and we figured it out.
Nice.
So. The dig. Yes.
Oh, the dig.
Oh,
yeah, that was good.
Man, remember that encased archaeological skeleton, and we were putting it together, and we put it together
a million times, and it was oh, the bone needs to be slightly lower than that. Man, fuck those games.
That was a good game, though. I enjoyed it.
It was very cinematic. I remember that being Steven Spielberg had something to do with that game, didn't he?
Yeah, he was directed.
It was when they were trying to do that stuff. Awesome.
Which makes this an amazing transition, Ryan, I gotta say, to our first news article.
Okay, yeah.
Talking about games.
Totally.
Man, I was inspired by this one. We're jumping into the news section of the night. Damn, we need to get our news bit.
We need to get a news bumper. We
say
it every time.
Somebody's got to remind us in Discord. Ryan and I have these things where we're going to have an intro for the news, just like we do for the show. And it's so damn easy. All I got to do is make the thing.
All you got to do is make it.
Push a button. News.
Oh, that's right. We sang one last time. I got to remember to get that. Okay.
Anyhow, news section time.
Yeah.
Kingdom of Dumps.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of this? Anybody? Yeah. Anybody?
I'm gonna say it's a weird name. Kingdom of Dumps.
Well, it's actually Kingdom of Dump.
The dump.
Of the dump.
Kingdoms of the dump. Good.
So here's why we think this is a good game. We're gonna put it in the chat here. You can check it out. I want to support our indie artists out there. We're gonna go take a look at some of the graphics on here. So if you're listening into us, definitely take a look at the visuals on this one that we're getting to shortly. But I want to talk about it. It reminds me of where we were headed, and maybe still could be.
Exactly.
But two gentlemen by the name of Adam Marshall and Matt Luisa. They were basically janitors, and they have a passion for game development. So they had spent 10 years, similar time frame to us. They made this game called Kingdoms of the Dump, and so it's a little turn-based RPG game, and they made it an RPG Maker.
Yeah, which is basically like a game maker platform, right? Sort of like a Go, but specifically for this type of game.
So it was in 2019, they raised $76,000 for this thing, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And so then they went ahead and built this thing out. And I think the cool thing is that as they built it out, within the last year, one of the guys had quit his job and said, we're going to finish this thing. It's gotten some really cool reviews out there. 7,000 copies in 2025, which I guess that's great.
I don't know. I don't know how much it costs, to buy it.
But let's go take a look at Kingdom of Dump.
I loved the artwork as I was perusing this earlier.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a cool little concept here.
And another interesting thing I thought about this was they got a bunch of help from the community. They had people volunteer hours to it for I don't know what exactly, but just helping develop this.
So you can buy it on Steam. But it's really cute.
Yeah.
Oh, this must have autoplayed. So let's start from the beginning. Original artwork, I suspect.
Yeah. See, it looks great.
It is like Skull Bob's, man. It came out on the 18th of November. Cute little trash can. Yeah, so your main character is a trash can. And you'd go around and you have fun.
The art style reminds me a little bit of like Metal Slug.
Your horn is blasting outside. Ryan's horn tends to do this outside.
It does.
So what I liked about it is that they made it out of like there were real janitors, and they were like king of dump. And so let's make a sweet game about that. Like, what an awesome story.
And a long time in development, and now finally out.
Over 10 years.
Man.
Who will save the lands of Phil? I love the Yoda talk here. The classic running on a train.
Oh man, I didn't realize it was like turn-based.
Yeah. Turn-based game.
I guess JRPG. That makes sense.
It's funny because the in-betweens of the animation look really cool. They look different. They're not animated in game like that. That's
right.
Awesome. Kingdoms of the Dump. I don't know what y'all think about that.
That was good. I might consider playing that.
Actually, I want to support cool things like that.
Like little mini little games.
Well, just because we're into it, and like we should be supporting that kind of thing, especially in this day and age of crazy AI stuff. And I don't know if there was any big things around it other than it got some rave reviews.
Yeah. And
it's been like they think the creativity and the way that it did, indie spirit, all good. Kingdom of Dumps.
Yeah.
This next article for me, this is a personal one.
Totally. As soon as I read this, I was like, Adam must care about this for some reason, and I assume it's the giving reviews of things, right?
It surely is.
Yeah.
So if you know, my current stat is I have 21 million reviews and watches and views of my videos and interactions on my Google reviews. And how it started was I had started going on vacations, and every time it would just pop up like, tell me about this location. I was like, stupid thing telling me things. I'm just going to like be goofy and put a story in there and kind of loosely base it on the location. So I would tell a story about the location, almost like you were saying, this is what happened here, and leaving this artifact of that location in the review. And for whatever reason, people really enjoyed it.
Nice.
And then I started taking really like good pictures. I was like, nobody wants to see the zoomed out picture, so I'm gonna just zoom it in and like, here's this piece of chicken looks like at absolute macro level, so you can see the texture on it. And people loved it too because they were like, oh, I could see the why.
Or it's just different than all the other stupid pictures.
And so regardless, years later, now I'm at 21 million views on Google Maps is what this is. There's no big credit. I got a couple times where they sent me some gift cards. They've invited me to like big Google Maps conferences and stuff.
That's cool.
And so I've made a little bit from it, and I'm like so close to this next XP tier that like it'll put me in a rare category. I'm like 1,000 points away from it.
Wow.
And then the next one, it takes like 18,000 points to go to the next level.
Dude.
And it's insane. It's like the XP
have like a team
game
helping you to do that many
nuts.
reviews.
So anyways, I'm gonna get there. Here's the news: is that all of the reviews that I had to put out there, I had to put under my name. My name is like on there. So if I was saying something terrible and that person wanted to look me up and say, "Who's this guy?" They could do that.
Did you have any terrible reviews?
I did.
Yeah.
I was honest on some of these, and there was one time where I threatened doing a review to one of the staff. Not in like I'm going to put a review. I was like, I'm probably going to put a review. This has not been a great experience. And they were just like, whatever. And so I did. And within a day, the company was like, "Hey, we will give you like some free gift cards if you take that review down." And so I responded. I said, "I'll take it down when you fix what's broken."
Oh man, because that was your thing that you were like upset.
I went in and the host didn't even acknowledge us for 25 minutes. I don't even. The only reason we stayed was we had a gift card to go there. I don't know. I'm not gonna dox it. Do you want me to dox it? You want me to say it?
No. But them offering gift cards, maybe not the best. You're like, I don't want to come back in and wait 25 more minutes to even give in your stupid gift card.
Yeah, I know. And I think Heather, you were with me on this.
So this anonymous version. So now you can be anonymous.
I never even said what the thing was.
Well, so now you could be anonymous. Do you think that's a bad thing or a good thing?
Yeah, so I think that's the big news here, is that they basically turned on this thing that said you can now not put your real name and you can put a different picture. It's still tied to your Google account,
so they can tell.
So that they can tell. You know, I'm torn, because there have been a few times I'm like, I want to blast this place. I'm like, I don't really put my name on blast.
They're gonna spin your food when you come back in.
Absolutely, or if they know who that was. So I think there's two things.
Got your picture
as my picture and my full name on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she knew exactly what it was. Heather knows exactly what I'm talking about. But I think that on a one side, from like a privacy perspective, I do kind of think about that sometimes. And so I'm going to give you an example. Right before the show, I have this amazing video, and I think it's amazing, but apparently other people do, because I keep getting hearts on it, which is really hard to do on Google Maps, is my understanding, from this breakfast bar over in Pittsburgh that I went into. And it was an amazing, like, records on the wall, cool. Like, little vibe place. And my name's right on it, though. So, like, people in Pittsburgh say, this dude is out here. This is the guy that put that. Right. So it kind of makes me feel a little awkward sometimes that people see what my actual name is. So I think that privacy-wise, it's cool. Now, drawbacks, bunch of anonymous crap. Totally. People just like saying, oh yeah, this is what's great out there. AI going out putting reviews, and maybe like
totally like just bombing places with a bunch of anonymous 0-1 star reviews, right? That say this place sucks. Like I could easily see that, coming out, and you're trying to cancel places and things like that. I don't know. Like that's. I feel like it's fine as soon as, but the moment it just starts getting swarmed with a bunch of anonymous garbage, like then does it even become useful at that point?
And that's what I'm nervous about. And one of the things though is that Google has been very good at like identifying trends of real people and like fraud and things. True. So my hope is that
maybe
they
have some kind of AI behind it that can tell like, oh, is this just a bot attack?
I know. So as far as I can say is, and they took away followers as well. That was another thing I didn't mention. This is earlier though.
How many followers did you have?
I don't even remember, because it wasn't a big deal in that space, but I did get a lot of but nobody did anything with followers. They're like, get this out of here. It's not even worth it anymore.
Not worthwhile to have.
Anyways, too much topic on that, but I'm a really big Google Maps fan. I still do it all the time. But my only rule had been, this is my only rule update before I go on, is I used to take pictures of the food, and then I look at my camera roll and I'm like, you are the lame guy that takes pictures of food. So if I go out with someone, I can still take pictures of food as long as I take a picture of the people I'm with and eating it with. I think that's an important thing.
Just to make sure they're in the picture so they can also get doxxed.
I don't put it on the review. I just say that if I'm going to take a picture of this burger I'm going to eat, I'm going to take this cool selfie of Adam and Ryan together.
That's good. That's a good rule to have.
Yeah.
Okay, 3D printing story?
I'll take this one quick.
Okay.
So one of the big things about 3D printing up to this point is that it's going to revolutionize everything in manufacturing processes, and it's going to make everything cheaper. It's going to be easier. It's going to be the way that of the future. And up to this point, I think there's been some applications where it's been great. I think you and I talked about like 3D printing a tooth or teeth.
Right. Like that's been huge for the dentistry.
Humongous thing.
Yeah.
The problem has been there hasn't been an industry up to this point. Maybe the housing industry is starting. We've looked at some housing, but maybe not like fully shaking this up.
Totally.
They think, or they being this particular company, this company, but they put some good evidence as to why they think this is the thing, is that boating, creating boats with 3D printing tech is the next big deal. And I said, what the heck? This is dumb. Like, I know what 3D printing is about, and like, it's not going to be able to have a boat. Well, anyways, this company came together. They figured out this cost-effective way to essentially put the right materials together to make these very solid boats. And it's like fiberglass parts and other pieces, and they made a specialized printer for it. But apparently boat making, I didn't realize, was this humongous deal. Like,
well, it's still, I think what I realized after reading this was boat making is very labor intensive and like hand making things. And one of the biggest problems that they have is like, you have to make a boat out of lots of different pieces, of course. And all of that has to be very waterproof and protected and be able to bump up against things and all of that. And when you have to make things out of multiple pieces, you end up having seams across that. And one of the biggest reasons why it's sort of, really labor intensive is sealing all of that up so that it's this perfectly, floatable and not sinking boat. And what I thought was really interesting about this is they're like, great, well, we'll just do one entire gigantic piece of this resiny material that's fiberglass that it, can withstand all of that, can be waterproof, but it's not in multiple pieces. It's in one piece, and it's a lot lighter, I feel like, than what they were saying other boats were. So when I saw this, I was like, man, could that actually be something where now we could get more boats? Everyone could, it could be a thing where, those are cheaper to buy and people could have more fun and, be out there, and maybe boats could just last longer too.
I think the thing too about this and why we talk about boats and 3D printing is that it was the margin between what it costs to make a current boat to what it costs to make this kind of boat, or some of the parts of it. They're like, yeah, there was a lot of upfront time in engineering the printer and all that part, but things that used to take weeks now take about 4 days to build that boat, and and it's unmanned as well, and they were able to print it.
I would say that it looks stupid. I don't know if you saw the pictures of the ones that they were like.
We should go through. Let's do a scroll.
It does not look cool. I feel like it does not look like. It looks like a little toy that they scaled up.
He's gonna. Let's watch this guy bump his boat.
Bump this boat.
Bump it. Oh God. We don't want to listen to that. How do you turn off? There we go. Man, why do people make the commercials like that? It's terrible.
It's like one solid piece.
Seed. I mean, that's cool. Like a sledgehammer into 3D printed. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, because it has to be like that, right? Because boats take a lot of damage. But I thought that was interesting, right? Like you sort of see the infill there.
Yeah, let's see if we can zoom into this. Like, I like that look. You can definitely tell the layer lines and things on that. It's crazy. It's like it's printing. It's printing sideways. It just almost looks like an accordion that like pulls it back and forth.
And it must go horizontally, right?
Yeah. Which there are some horizontal 3D printers out there that are a thing. That looks like pretty dang cool.
Wait, go down to the lower one. Tell me that doesn't look dumb.
That looks futuristic, Brian.
I don't know.
That's the future of boats. Well, that's what they were saying though too, is that they think that the boats of they were like, people may not buy these, but where they find that it has some value is like rentals of boats.
Yeah.
Or if you needed a boat in a location that would have cost a lot to ship it to, that you would essentially ship the printer there.
Right.
And then print the boat on
location. Print a few boats while it's out there.
Just print a boat. I'm on a boat.
Don't you ever forget.
I definitely love that.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just always in on 3D printing and how like it actually applies to the real world, and this feels like one. I feel like houses is a bust. I don't know, we got to get some kind of different housing technology with 3D printing for that to be worthwhile. It just feels like we've been trying that for a decade and keep not doing great. But
I mean, I don't want to get too on a tangent here, but what makes you think it's not great?
Well, it just feels like all you're doing is you're extruding concrete into walls,
right?
And they don't. I don't think it looks all that great. Like there was, I'm on a Reddit called Zillow Gone Wild, and there was a 3D printed house that you could purchase, but it was like $1.3 million, and I feel like it looked ridiculous. The whole outside, it's like uneven in parts of it. I just feel like if you're not making houses that are way cheaper than normal houses, where are you at with 3D printing? We've been looking at that for houses for a decade now.
But my understanding is, though, that it does cut down on parts and time to getting a house up.
It does, but I just no one's made that work at scale for the low income housing crisis that we actually need to do. No one needs a $2 million 3D printed house, right? Just go buy a normal house at that point. We need like $40,000 3D printed houses would be great.
I think we're going to have a whole new topic on 3D printed houses in the future. That's going to be a main topic at some point. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Yeah, no, it could be.
Move on to our next. Hey, I see in the chat, this is 100% about the three-headed dog fan merch that guards the underworld. I don't know what y'all talking about. It was funny. It was game time decision that I was gonna wear this hat, and I was like, nobody's gonna think a single thing about this hat.
It's
hilarious that it gets mentioned in the chat when I was like, nobody will notice.
Is this product placement, Adam? Is Cerberus Brewing hosting the show?
Oh, you just knew that. Yeah, I mean, I wish they would because it's one of our favorite places.
It's pretty sweet. I live. It's probably 5 minutes from Cerberus.
Cerberus is Heather and I's favorite place.
What? Nice.
We have gone to here for multiple years. We usually go there on our anniversary.
You should. Well, when it's not your anniversary, but you're ever up there, just call us and we'll come over.
We should do that.
Should.
What was what was it? Abuela's Chancla was the latest beer, one of the beers that I ever had, and so it's Grandma's slipper. Like Grandma would throw your slipper at you when you're screwing around. Super good beer. I don't know if they have it anymore. I don't think they do.
Still, great place.
It is. You got to check it out. So it's good under new ownership.
Really?
Yeah. It's a new brewer that I got in there. All right. Next up, this one goes to, and I feel like I'm leading the news. I'm sorry if I'm taking over. Is that we had talked on the show a couple times ago about social media.
Yeah.
And just how it, is it still the thing? Is it out there? What's happening? I just thought this was interesting just to jump into it. A little bit of social media usage in 2025. And guess what, folks? Are people using it or are they not? What do you want to guess?
Yeah, they're using it.
Yeah, they absolutely
are. At Facebook, so this article has a whole bunch of really great data points, right? It was just breaking it down between gender and race and age and all of that stuff and who is using what social media platforms are they using. And I thought it was really interesting. My biggest takeaways from reading this, how many people still use Facebook? Mm-hmm. Still huge for adults. And we should say this is from America. They only did America, so it's not worldwide or anything like that. But man, social media, Facebook use 70% or something like that use it weekly, and I think it was some even 60% daily of adults in America. Wow, it seemed like a lot. Well, the only thing above that was YouTube, right? Which was the overall winner of everything in every category across every demographic. I feel like
it is. It was 84%. 84% adults use
daily
every day.
Daily, man, 84. Which I get. I mean, I would probably count myself in that daily usage, right?
In the stupid shorts, damn those shorts.
Oh yeah, I assume that counts, right? I assume all of that counts. YouTube. It's on YouTube. You're on YouTube. Some of the stuff way at the bottom, they even tracked True Social and some of those, Blue Sky, and I think they had some other ones. Pretty low numbers still. I was surprised that Blue Sky was only 8% or something like that of people who use that. X a little bit higher, was it 25? I think. I don't know. Just interesting. I feel like social media is definitely going to have a shakeup here pretty soon with AI stuff, but we'll see.
I think it's interesting. I like the 2025 look back on YouTube. I don't know what that is. Did they summarize all the terrible shorts we've been watching?
Oh, well, so now is the time of year. Everybody's getting their Spotify. What did you listen to on Spotify? I got a Twitch thing. Give me all my stats on Twitch. What was the person that I talked to the most? Discord had a whole thing. I mean, this is the time of year. Everyone's figured out that those are fun.
It's a good thing. What do you do? What do you think about?
Right, exactly.
The takeaway that I got from this is that the main players in social media, the YouTubes, the Facebook, even TikTok has made it into that, and WhatsApp and Instagram. But they were saying that the thing that they're seeing is it's more fractured now. We're starting to see the younger generations adopt apps that are a little bit more not the mainstream ones that we see and all. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's like things that you probably thought was happening. They just put some words to it and they put some actual stats. So pretty interesting. It's going to be, like you said, I'm interested to see how this is going to change up with some of the AI crap that's out there.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like when feeds start filling up with that, imagine a sycophantic social media feed.
I got this like really weird AI thing stuck in my my YouTube feed. You know, like, oh, you like this? You should watch this.
Sure.
Like things that are
we research
absolutely terrible though. Like there was this lady and she's right about to feed some like alligators, and then like she falls down and then the alligators come out and she turns into like this weird big blob face and then like crawl into her eye sockets, and I'm like, what the hell am I watching right now?
Those are good. I love those. Those are like the fever dream AI videos that I still.
But that's it. That's my feed
that's
now.
That's my whole damn feed now. I want to fever dreams.
Man. So on the kick of social media, we're switching gears here. Who's heard of this guy? This is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's coming in 6 days. I don't know what if for Australia. Who knows about this?
Yeah.
Ryan, take it away. What's
banning,
going on?
I mean, they're basically banning social media for kids under the age of 16. So anyone from any of those main social media platforms we just talked about under the age of 16, they're going to basically take it away from you. And they've been putting out announcements about downloading your pictures and all of that. And Australia's trying to combat some of that, the bad side effects of people under the age of 16 being able to have access to social media and some of the just like mental, repercussions of having that at such a young age. And so they're trying this out. And, a lot of times when you talk about, things in other countries, they put the onus on the parents, right? Mm-hmm. The onus is either on the child or the parents of the child to say, nope, we're blocking that from their phone, or we're not allowing them to sign up, or, we're not just letting them put in, I'm 26 when they sign up for their Instagram account. And in this way, they're going to have to do more. They're putting more of the onus on the platform holders. And they're saying, hey, you got to be able to check and make sure that these people who are signing up are actually over the age of 16. And I feel like the whole world is kind of watching this and saying, what? I don't know how long it'll take to get like what the actual feedback from this will be of studies and everything. But man, I feel like if it has a big impact quick off the bat, I feel like a lot of places are going to copy this.
What's interesting is this aligns with some of the discussions we've recently had about could we ban things, right, or this analog kind of lifestyle. And we were like, I don't know. It seems pretty kind of far-fetched that we'd be able to push that. An example of this, right here.
I mean, a working government, which is great, of Australia saying, hey, maybe we should try to put some kind of limits on this and not just, like I said before, put the onus on the individual, right? Like the parents and the kids.
So the big things were harmful content, excessive screen time, risks with like addictive algorithms, cyberbullying, all of these other things that we hear about. They're trying to curb it. Is what it looks like. Now, what was interesting is there's a pretty clean debate between this. There's some supportive people. Parents are like, yep, it's pretty black and white, clear. This is what we're going to support. It's going to help with these behaviors that are happening. And so there's some folks that are out there that are like, I get it. I'm all about it. It feels justified. The criticisms, and this is where I thought it was really interesting, and I actually kind of think the criticisms have more merit. Number one, how the hell do you really police that? Number one.
Sure.
That's my thought. But it's going to force people into new underground kind of systems that are going to be less tracked, less monitored in a certain way. And we've seen this happen before. It's like the big popular platforms happen and then like kids or whatnot, like, oh, let's go over here. Let's find some other way to do that. And then they might find themselves in other situations that are a little less ideal to be in, or in a place that could be monitored.
See, that's interesting. So you're sort of against this this idea of limiting this.
I'm not sure I'm against it. I would just say that I'm not sure that it's enforceable. I'm not sure it's something that's gonna get the results that they're looking for.
Well, so I heard some of the things that you could do, right? Like they've started to do this in certain places in Europe and America too. It's like you have to have a license, right? And like you have to scan an ID or something like that goes into it. Exactly. So there's that. Then there's also the one where it just sort of, now with AI, and it sort of builds a profile of you, right? And if the profile that it builds of you is a 13-year-old middle school student, right? It's going to be like, we flag that as something and say, like, now you had to present something, right? That does it. So you're shaking your head and you're like, oh, I don't. So if I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's sort of like, I don't think the rewards of doing this, which is 16-year-olds not having Instagram, is worth the data tracking and all of that would be going into setting up a new Instagram account. Is that kind of your thoughts?
I just feel like it's like trying to put a war on something it's like trying to fight the ocean with your fist. There's so much other stuff out there that you could put these rules and put it on these different systems, and I just don't feel like there's maybe I'm wrong, but I'm interested to see how
it feels a little fatalist, like your attitude towards this. You're just like, whatever, we can't stop the rising tide. Let 9-year-olds have Instagram that they can just browse 20 hours a day.
I wouldn't say I'm going to that degree, but
I'm mostly busting your balls a little bit.
I love it.
But
it's the Adam versus Ryan. I also think about some of the other things. It's like, are you cutting off some of their ability to socialize in certain ways? Is there other things that they get involved in that might help, like even in the political sphere? It's like, younger generations tend to have some more ability to say, like, hey, this isn't going right. Let's like put ourselves together. Let's let's put something towards a cause. So I'm just like, yeah, what are we trying to solve here? That they're addicted to their phones and on their phones all the time? Like, and they're getting cyberbullied? Like, is that what we're solving for? Like, I guess it's a little unclear to me. It's not just like, hey, it's really bad for kids, and so we're really going to do our best effort to shield for them for that.
So I'll make an argument on your defense, even on top of it too, which is, I would say there are marginalized children that are 15, 14, 13 who are, have different sexual preferences, right, than their parents do, and don't have anyone to reach out to and don't have anyone to talk to about it. And them having those platforms sort of helps them, talk about things and be social and all of that stuff. They would need to do that, where if like they didn't have those and they had to be 16 to be able to do it, or have their parents sign them up, who their parents would never allow that, right? They're not getting, any of those benefits of having that like, might be even help them through really difficult times, right? And so you're saying like, no, you can't have that. We're going to police you until you're 16. I wonder if there's some kind of like in between of this, where if I knew that you were younger, I could limit the amount of that you're allowed to see, like in a row, or like purposely have like breaks in between.
I kind of want that.
You're right. Like maybe that's even, I mean, in a perfect world, it would keep Adam to an hour of doom scrolling every day, or brain rotting every day. But for kids, I could see that, right? Like you sign up, and if we know you're 16 or your profile does out that you're all into, brain rot and skibbity toilet, I'm like, you know what? You're probably not a 36-year-old man. I'm probably going to have to try to like throw some things in your way.
You're going to take my skibbity toilet away? Come on, my friend.
Yeah, like, oh man. Yeah, like it's really going to peg Adam as a 14-year-old.
We have so much more news to go through.
Get to it.
We're going to just have to keep nailing through it. And, I'm going to go and say, like, I'm not saying that 12 years are on political debates here at Stealth Mouse. I'm thinking, like, if you have different political opinions or perspectives as a younger child, and you wanted to, like, find more of your community, and your parents are like, no, you must think this way.
Yeah.
And you want to find some other people that are at least like-minded, and you're maybe not going to be an activist or anything, but at least have some people in a community that you can connect with. I think that's something to think about.
And it's always hard because you can't say, well, Stealth Mouse is like, their kids are going to know how to get around it. I mean,
yeah,
it's always, I mean, you could say that about like gun control or any of those things, right? You're like, people are going to get around and criminals are going to learn how to get guns. You're like, yeah, but we put, regulations on that kind of stuff, even though, yes, criminals will get around it. I don't know. It's a complicated and thorny situation. I would rather talk about Olaf robots, if you don't mind.
So we are transitioning to Olaf.
Hard transition to Disney robots after that conversation. But let's do it.
Oh, we got it. We got this thing, Ryan. You got to give us this. What's this about?
So I watched this fun video. It's like half an hour long.
It's a long time.
But we don't have to go through any of that, but it is interesting. I'm interested in robots, sort of where we are going with that technology, and I feel like I'm a Disney fan. F the haters about Disney, but like they're always trying things. They have that Imagineering thing, which I think is really neat, and they are making robots that are cute and interesting to look at and not just functional and can do the dishes, right? And what they came up with is they have this new robot that is coming out. This is the Fantastic Four one that I think they built, and
still cool.
The newest one is the Olaf robot.
Do you know where it is in this?
It has little. I think it's after this, in this video, and. What I thought was neat is just that like the Olaf robot doesn't just have the functionality of just walking from one place to the other, right? What it does is it recognizes people, it responds to them, it has like a fun animated walk that isn't your normal, we're just going to mechanically walk from one place to another. And so the thing that I thought was neat about this is they've had some of these robots. We've talked about them before on the show. We had the Star Wars bot, right? That was in there.
Absolutely.
We had that one from NVIDIA that was working with that one. And they've had them at Disney parks, but they've always sort of kept them behind kind of like your velvet rope, right? You're going to sort of watch them go around. Well, this one is premiering inside of I think it's Japan and Europe for now. And it's an Olaf robot. It's just going to be out in the park. It has like removable arms and removable nose. I don't know if that one is it. I know the Olaf one. I mean, it's more at the beginning. Maybe
enough.
I feel like, but I just thought it was really cute. I thought it was really amazing that Disney
what's the word they call this?
What?
Imagineering.
That's what I said. I love the Imagineers. I love them. That is such that I feel like if I could have any job in the entire world, it would work at Disney Imagineering. And
get all those 3D printed parts.
So they show that if you watch this entire video, they show the little Olaf and he has removable arms and nose with magnets. And if you take one of the arms off, like it recognizes it and it goes like, oh, hey, like, oh, were you trying to shake my hand or something like that? Like it sort of knows and it'll go after it and it'll put it back. I don't think it puts it back on. That would be too cool. But
how would it put it back on?
It doesn't have like grasping hands, right? Okay, so here it is. And I don't know. I'm just excited for like more robots in our lives. And I would go to Disney and want to play around with this time. Imagine an entire look at 5 years in the future when this technology is more fleshed out.
Oh God.
All these little robots and walking around and talking with you and seeing you and recognizing you because of your little fast pass wristband and knowing your name, and that'd be sweet.
Well, I have some hot takes on robots very soon here, Ryan, that we're going to get into.
Nice.
I mean, he's definitely cute. Oh, there, he's taking off his arm.
See, like he knows the arm. The arm could get taken off.
What are you doing? Don't take my arm. Take his arm and run out of the park. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but
he looks very alive.
But can that little tiny robot paint a beautiful picture or compose a sonnet?
Can you, Ryan?
Can you? All right.
So good. All right. Well, on the topic of robots, I thought this one was an interesting one. There was a couple things. So we're talking about robots and in parks nonetheless, and kids hanging out with these robots, all these different things. And so there is a robot designer out there and his name is I think Rodney Brooks. Rodney Brooks. He's a robot pioneer and co-founder of iRobot. So he's basically warned. He's like, full-sized walking humanoid robots are dangerous as all heck.
This guy came off as a bit of a pussy in this article.
Hey, you know, I've had this same thought. So when I saw the article and I read through it, I was like, there's others that are even in the industry that think this. And so here's what I saw. Is there was a robot video of some fair, and some robot was doing something and then like kind of got off track.
Sure.
And there was a lady that was there and just like basically like picked her up like in between, and she's like, what the heck? And it was like a funny moment, but I was like, that seems super dangerous. And I'm like scared about that too. If you have a robot that doesn't like uses cameras to do things, and it doesn't have any context that like it's absolutely murdering you or hurting you.
Right.
So what anyways this gentleman's talking about is that because of the inertia, because of the physics of these like heavy big machines, falls on you or it gets right, it knocks into you, you're gonna get hurt.
Well, and it did make me think, like, you know, when a person bumps into you, say a big person, say a 300-pound person bumps into you, right? And say they started to fall on top of you, like a human being sort of moves in a way and tries to fall off, you know, like not hit into you in a certain way so that you both sort of save yourselves, right? Whereas a robot, it just kind of clunks over. And if that thing weighs 300 pounds and it has its knee out or whatever, right? Like I could absolutely see that doing damage, especially if it's, you know, in a big public place. I feel like that's why we're talking about the Disney stuff. They're all like, you know, they're all
small,
a foot and a half tall, right? Or 2.5 feet tall, as opposed to a giant hulking, you know, Mickey Mouse or something like that in a costume. Oh man.
we got to pull this one out. The chat. This is a chat favorite right now. They're called Beeples.
Beeples.
All right, we got to show this. I don't know what's gonna happen here. I'm just gonna go over to it. So no, I'm hearing what you're saying, Ryan. Is that it? All right, let's just see what this is about. We gotta.
Don't stay too late.
Oh God, is
I'll
this
try.
commercial?
Friday night, closing the books. Just a
Close
few
the
more
books.
hours.
You got to do
That's
that.
not true.
Oh man, how much do I have to watch of that crap? All right, we're gonna watch through this commercial in a second, and we're gonna talk about this. Beeple is the artist, but they're humanoid heads causing a scene at the Miami Art Fair.
Robot dog bodies, painted flesh tone. It looks like
We're about to see this video after these terrible ads that are up. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's a pretty good still. They poop out photos.
Oh my God. That is creepy.
Now this is the kind of AI art that
if you are not watching, there are robot
you're missing
dogs with like billionaire heads that look realistic pooping out photos. Thank you for this.
Taking pictures from their face, I assume, and pooping out photos out of the back of them.
This is insane.
Pretty fun.
I love it. All right, that was not scripted, and thank you, chat. Mike Azul always on the.
It's fun.
All right, well, we'll have to put that one in the Discord. If that's not in the Discord, you got to make sure that gets in there. Anyhow, all right. Robots in the future, stay 10 feet away from him is what we've heard. All right, going on with the robot talk here, we're really on it, is that there is a company out there
Memo.
that... What was that?
So the memo.
Give us the rundown.
This is a different type of robot. It's one of it's competing for the be in your home and do your chores for you robot. They've gone with more of a less bipedal and more like fixed base rolling robot that goes tall and down. Before I read about this, I didn't realize that there was this there's this very specific task that has been hard for robots to get, and it's called clearing the table and putting those dishes into the dishwasher. And apparently it takes a lot of different things to be able to do that. Like you have to be able to, one, move from the dishwasher or from the table to the dishwasher, which is at different levels. You have to be able to take plates and multiple things and maybe even balance those things. You have to use the garbage to scrape off the food. You have to be able to put it in the right place in the dishwasher. Like there are a million different variables that go into cleaning your table and getting those dishes in the dishwasher. And this memo robot does it autonomously. So the video that we're watching right now is 10 times the speed. So it's sped up 10 times. So, it's going pretty slow because this feels like normal speed if I were to look at it. But unlike some of those household robots that we had talked about before, not teleoperated at this point, fully autonomous, doing this all by itself. In a way. And I thought it was interesting, the idea of it being on a sort of retractable base. So it can go up and down kind of as if it's bending over and standing up straight, but it's just sort of hovering up and down in its thing. And I just wanted to say, like, man, I feel like in the last year, we were talking about these sort of household robots, and man, it feels like they're coming a long way in that.
It's interesting. It's like, do you want to go buy your dishwashing robot? It's like, that is all it can do.
No, well, it folds clothing.
Ooh.
Like they talked about doing that. Like, and one of the things that they want to be, that when they put it out for sale is so it has been trained on like thousands and tens of thousands of hours of people doing a normal household chores, loading the washing machine, taking things out of the washing machine, putting it into the dryer, taking the stuff out of the dryer, folding it up, then going and putting that into the closets or the drawers in rooms. And like, that is their only thing that they want to do, is focus on all of that stuff. And so I thought it was kind of interesting. You're like, man, we're focus testing it on one specific thing that we want it to do. And if that thing costs 10 grand, I don't know.
Here's the deal, though, is that I think that is also revolutionary about this, and maybe revolutionary is not the right word, but the way that they train it is interesting to me. Is that typically it takes a lot of money and a lot of setup to like get the capturing of like all those intricate movements. And so what this has done is they've created this low cost skill capture gloves. Ooh. And so what it does is they're worn just by normal people doing these jobs over and over and over to train.
Well, and so I guess those gloves, so you've seen that when they do the teleoperation, is like they're typically really expensive. And so you can only give it out to a certain amount of people, and you can only train it on a certain amount of things if you only have a certain amount of gloves. But these ones, they're cheap. They could give it out to a whole bunch of people, and that's how they got all this training data for these robots.
I could train it on something. Be real good at it.
It's like some kind of horrible sex robot.
Hey, whoa. This is a children's show.
PG-13.
They're like, why does this thing constantly want to like shake things? Come on.
It's constantly thrusting its hips all over the place.
Like, damn, I wore the gloves a little too long. All right, we're getting down to two of our topics, and then I don't know, we should probably skitter over some of these AI things if you're good with it. But I thought these two were interesting. They're space things that have happened recently. One of the ones is that saving astronauts. Have you watched The Martian? You read the book The Martian? Who's not watched that? Totally. Well, there's a new thing that's coming that just happened, is that there was a launch of essentially an emergency lifeboat for some astronauts that were born on one of the space stations. And so one of the originally docked ships that was meant to like have the crew return had some challenges. It suffered a cracked window. They were saying some debris had hit it, and that because of that, it was going to be unsafe for these astronauts to re-enter. And so they had to take this shuttle. I think that they weren't done with it, and it's hilarious. It like really aligns with The Martian. I just watched it again, and of course it was a really good book. But they were saying like they sent this back up. They were able to redock this ship in there, and they're going to be able to return on this particular craft.
I think that's cool. It was like an unmanned craft that they sent up there. It docked with the whole station. It did the thing that it feels like sci-fi does, right? When it goes like, hey, amazing, we have something. Go send an autonomous ship up there, life raft, to dock, and then jettison that other one and let them go in. Let them use that to return back to Earth. And you're like, amazing. I thought it was a cool story.
I liked the other side of it too, and they were saying there was a lot of credit that was going to the China Manned Space Agency, and because they were saying, number one, they acted quickly. They're like, hey, there's a problem. We're gonna send this up. We're doing what we need to do to save our people. Mm-hmm. I thought that was the number one good thing. And then the idea that they had some backups in place, and then just also kind of got to the concept that you should have backups for these kind of things in place. Yeah. So I don't know, kudos on that. I thought that was really a really interesting thing. It also got me thinking about something completely different that I'm not sure is like how much space debris is up there. Isn't there like a crap ton of it?
And they track all of it too. Oof. So that, because you got to know, right? So that it doesn't hit your satellite or whatever. Yeah, all of that. And it's going to get even worse.
We need to get Space Sweepers. You ever watch that on Netflix?
No.
Super good.
Space Sweepers. Interesting.
Yeah, they go and clean up garbage out of space. You have to see what
it's like a reality show.
No, it's yeah. They send people to space to clean up the space garbage. No, it's like it was one of those foreign films that they made on Netflix, but it got really super popular because it was a good story.
Yeah,
and it was about going and like picking up debris and things like that. It was actually kind of a dystopian future.
We're stick around for the end of this month. We're gonna have a whole end of the year. We have a show right on the very first of the year, and we're gonna be talking about our favorite media and games and predictions for 2026 and all of that.
So this last one, at least on the non-AI discussions, I just thought was interesting. I'm not a biologist by any means or anybody that does space travel, but just seems kind of interesting. So there was an astonished, as they said, they were genuinely astonished that moss survived 9 months outside the International Space Station, and then it could still grow on Earth.
Yeah.
So they had these spores that they were able to attach to the outside of ISS. It was for 283, so that's about 9 months. And so when they returned those samples back to Earth, 80% of them survived. They were able to grow normally, come back. So what that shows is they were able to endure really harsh conditions.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of amazing. It was interesting.
Yeah, it's like the first sort of substance to just sort of survive on the outside, just the harsh realities of space and how cold it is and no oxygen and all of that, and come back and be completely fine. And so they were like, hey, maybe that gives a little more credence to there being more life out there that can survive, on comets or things like that, right? Like survive in space and then be able to make it to other planets and things.
And I think that was the big takeaway, is that they're saying that you don't just necessarily need Earth to survive. Right. So some of the plants and things on there. And so I think it's important as we think about populating maybe other planets or other kind of things in space, is that, okay, we start to have some science behind.
That's great. Send a whole bunch of moss to Mars and have it live there.
Have it go repopulate Mars. That's all we need. We don't need these dumb humans that are there.
Just a Mars covered in moss.
So we have around 10 more minutes or so to
10 more minutes. You want to hit it? You pick a couple of your favorites?
Man, they're all AI related. So let's hit a couple of them. Is there one that maybe I would talk about is brain weapons have arrived. And so it's so this one is fairly interesting. It comes from The Guardian, but it talks about mind-altering brain weapons. And so what it's talking about is it's plausible, or it's advanced, that AI is to target someone's consciousness and memory, and then affect behavior through some chemicals or neuroactive agents. And so this particular one, I read through it and I had to take a couple times to understand it. But what they were saying is that there's these weapons or these new ways that we're going to start fighting battles or being able to have conflicts on we used to have a lot of science fiction, like, oh, we're going to send this nanobite and put it in somebody's head and it's going to change their behaviors. And, it all seemed very hi-fi, sci-fi kind of stuff. But we're starting to see that they have these weapons that could start to target specific parts of the brain or the nervous system and then alter people's memories, their consciousness.
Yeah.
Like, it's starting to get to a point where the science fiction has arrived.
And I liked they talked about one previously in history where they had sort of a version of this, and it was like they put out because I was trying to think, like, what does this actually mean? Are you injecting people with things? Are you putting things into the air? Are you putting stuff into the water that people drink? Is this like a beam that I'm shooting at someone and then they forget and they go unconscious or something? And the one that they talked about was basically a fentanyl bomb.
Oh God.
They just like put a bunch of fentanyl that could be aerosolized, and they pumped it into a place, and they were like, great, hey, everyone's just gonna pass out or do something. And they were like, yeah, I mean, it saved some of the hostages, but like 400 people had died within a little bit of having that, and had horrible health repercussions and all, so I was like, okay, well, it seems like we're past that, but it does seem like a pretty scary thing if you can start doing that, because we also this was in like the AI 2027 where it was like, oh, if AI can figure out some of these things, and then it just kind of spreads that around to everyone and gets everyone forgetting or dying.
And so, yeah, this particular one is a combination of a couple things, but AI is one of the elements that helps make it a little bit more plausible as it goes in there. So the ability to alter your brain and change the way that you think or the way that you're perceiving, or sedate you in other ways, is it's on the cusp.
I thought one of these good ones. I like the AI music is having a moment.
Yeah, let's talk about that,
because Adam has what's the AI music service that you use?
Suno, yes.
Yeah. And so makes some AI music and things like that, and I feel like almost a couple years ago at this point, or maybe a year, there was like a big song that came up that was just made out of AI, that was like a combination of two really popular artists and everything, and then I feel like it sort of died off, and a ton of music companies and everything sued AI companies for using that. And now we're more in the, AI companies are, combining with music studios to train models on their artists. And so one of the big, music songs that was in the Billboard, top 10 was a country music song that was completely AI created, based off training from a specific artist who is a country artist. So it sort of sounded like him. And I don't know, man, it feels like a lot of that, it used to be there was getting pushback, and now they're just combining together. And it kind of feels like artists are going to get screwed over again, sort of like Spotify screwed them over. Like, if you wanted your music out there and people to listen to it, you accepted Spotify's terms of service, and you got that 0.0001% of a penny every time somebody listened to it. This is going to be the same thing. Hey, you don't want to have your music brought into the bubble of this corporation's, AI generated music machine? Well, you're never going to get paid for anything because we're just going to steal it anyway. So take your 0.00001% of a penny every time it gets used, which is a little crappy.
And it's interesting too. And like, I did get deeper into the research here, and so there was a little bit of like sensationalization of the title, and so everyone was like, "Oh my God, it topped the Billboard charts! It topped the Billboard digital download charts."
Sure.
So it was like a very niche area where you actually, I think, have to even pay money to get into the service to even get ranked. So it got blown out of proportion, but I still think your point stands, is that the idea here is that it's becoming more widely accepted. I appreciated it. I spent time building some fun stuff out there. And what was really fun about it is that I was able to relive some moments and be like, I really like the 90s kind of music, so I'm going to make some vibes back in that time, and then I'll write lyrics for it and be able to listen to that. And so go check it out on doubledropdown.com if you're interested.
That's right.
We do have some of that music out there. I haven't made it lately because I have to be inspired. That was one thing. Is like I'm not going to just go make a bunch of junk, but I want to be inspired to make something. So very interesting there.
Do you want to wrap it up, or do you pick one more? One last one?
I think we could do. Well, I'm going to put this in our list so we know what we talked about tonight. Man, we had so much out there. Is there any other one that really hits you?
I mean, the Genesis mission is pretty crazy.
Let's talk about Genesis.
So,
the Terminator stuff, right?
Well, the United States government released this thing that was from like the Department of Energy, the DOE, and their big new initiative is called the Genesis mission. And really what this does is they were saying like, okay, we have all these different disciplines of all this different stuff around the entire government about research and development and all of those things. Let's bring them all together and put them so that AI can sort of like help bridge all of these different, disciplines, and we can hopefully make faster progress than we have been making recently. And I had heard about, there has been somewhat of a slowing of like new and, patentable and useful like research that has come out of it. We sort of plateaued a little bit. And so what they're hoping is, or not even plateaued, but we need to like throw more researchers at it. And they're hoping, hey, what if we took all of this information and sort of made it available to all these people using AI so that, maybe any of that advancement could go forward. Now, there is some definite drawbacks of that kind of stuff for sure. We talked about this like with the walkable city or, like any of that kind of stuff, the smart cities, that if you take all of that information, they don't know. Are they going to make it public to everyone? Maybe not, right? Are they going to take all of that information and only hold it for the certain political party that is in power at the moment? Maybe. And so then no one else can have any of that information and they get to make all of the discoveries and do all the stuff that like entrenches them more into power. That could also very much happen. I mean, I'm not super for the current administration that we have in there. And so when I think about things like this, it feels scary. And when I hear, talk about it in the way of altruistic way of like trying to solve more of the world's problems with AI and with this new technology, I think of course we should be doing stuff like that. So this is one of those things where I'm definitely of two minds about it. I don't know.
No, I really appreciate the insights on this. It's because it's really trying to push harder on that scientific process. And so what I'm hearing is that, like you had mentioned, it's not necessarily a plateau, but maybe we don't have enough to kind of like keep trying all these experiments and things like,
right.
And we talked about this. You might fail 100 times to get one that works. And if you use AI to just like grind on this thing, we'll be getting things that are a little bit maybe better that we can say, yep, this works. Now we can build on this and this and this. And then
and maybe some part of the energy department that is working on rockets or something like that could share information with the Department of Energy that is doing something with, climate change. And so then those things can now be synergized between each other. And, we come up with things faster and better than we could before. That feels like the utopian side of that. We're like, of course we should be doing those types of things now that we have this new technology. But oh man, it definitely, I could see it going wrong in the wrong hands.
It really comes down to how we manage it and how we really consider this going forward. I don't think it's the wrong way to be thinking. It's just how do we do it and how do we do it equitably?
Yeah, it's tough, which is hard.
I appreciate that. Which actually is a really good pivot point into our topic of the night. The last human skills.
Oof.
Oh man,
deep topic.
It is absolutely. We have a lot of research that we got. I got to pull out our notes now.
I got to get my notes out. I have multiple sets of notes.
We have pens. Here's your pen, sir.
Did I not have?
No, you did. I had taken it away
because I was messing with it.
No, I don't know. I was fidgety and I grabbed it. So I got to start with the topic of the evening and the last, the last human skills. It runs deep for me because I've been thinking about this a lot lately. One of the things that, as I get older, 45 now, man, it feels like crazy to be 45, but is as I've seen AI start to take over certain aspects of things that I enjoyed. I want to give you a little bit of history and kind of why I got to this topic. So I used to be into web development. That was a big deal. It was like back when there was the big bubbles and the boom back in like the early 2000s. That's when I started a lot of my web development side of the house. And I remember going and learning how to code and how to do HTML, how to do CSS, how to do all the JavaScript pieces, how to work with servers. The amount of time and effort that I had to put into that was pretty immense at that time frame, to the point where it's like, can I even make this a career? Am I smart enough to do this?
Right.
Flash forward to now, I'm able to like put one line into ChatGPT and I have a fully fledged web page better than anything I would have been able to produce.
Right.
And I start to think about like how many hours, how many days, how many months did I spend on like trying to even get close to what this just did in minutes. And so it started to make me think, is like all of that time and all that value, all that skill and all those things that I put into that, it does it mean anything anymore? And so then that's where I got into the topic. We're all probably experiencing a lot of things out there. And so, you know, a question I would ask to a chat here, what's something you used to be proud of that AI can now do? And they can do it almost instantly. Yeah. Do you have something, Ryan?
I do. When I read through this, I was thinking, and I was like, well, you know, what are things that and I was never a huge writer, so it's just helping me write. I feel like I was never proud of that writing necessarily anyway. There's definitely things as a graphic designer, a lot of times you don't make any of it. You're like combining things together, which already feels like it goes with AI. But I will say that like there were times throughout my career where like the illustration that I could do, like even at my current job, which I've only had for 4 or 5 years now, there was half of that time where there was no AI, and there were times where I was part of my job was to illustrate things and present it to clients and go through revisions and all of that, and I did feel really proud of those projects when they got done, and I was like, man, you would never, I did those early on in my thing. You would never do that again. Like you would never spend the time that I did to illustrate a whole thing when you can have AI do it, in a matter of hours. So,
or minutes even.
Well, but even trying to get them to all look the same and do all this stuff, it's a little bit more intensive at this point than even just like 1 second of having ChatGPT do it, but still far less than the hours and hours and hours and weeks that I spent on the illustrations before.
I feel like these are the moments that I reflect on, and sometimes as we go a little bit further on, I'm like, how much of my life did I spend on learning things that are now obsolete completely?
But isn't that all jobs? Like, what did you learn in college that isn't obsolete at this point, right?
So I agree. I'm thinking the speed in which they become obsolete, like the sheer volume of things that you can do now, where like let's say even like drawing or taking photos or doing those kind of things, like you still had to take some time and effort, and it might take you a little less time because you're skilled at it. It's something that you were able to do, and you could impress somebody with that.
Sure.
Now anybody can punch in a couple things and everyone has a gazillion images, and those, like the images you create are the value of those is I'm not saying that it's less, but like there's so much. It's in a saturated market that nobody maybe sees it as much as it used to be seen in the and it took human skill to create that, to create that beautiful painting. Here was a concept I was thinking about, and this is where it gets a little bit more on an opinion side. You might go out there and paint something amazing, right?
Sure.
You spend a week on it, you spend a month on it, whatever time frame that you look at that. And there's a certain subset of people that I would absolutely enjoy and appreciate the work and craftsmanship and everything that you put into that painting. Mm-hmm. Somebody else could go in and spend 2 seconds putting a thing together in an AI, spit out some sort of a painting, and get millions of views on a social network, and completely blast past any of this like physical time you spent on creating something right there. And so those are the moments that are starting to make me feel like the human skills, the things that we used to say were like sacred, because artists used to be kind of like, oh my God, nobody could do that thing. And you would see some weird, creepy art that somebody made, and you're like, man, that is awesome. I want to follow that artist. Now anybody can do it.
Yeah, I mean, would you say that that's different from so let's say before like the printing press or before easy printing of something, you had to have like the original of the artwork, you know, like you had to have like the painting, the physical painting, whereas opposed to now I can go to the Louvre and get like a print of the Mona Lisa and I can hang that up in my house if I wanted to, and it's basically like the exact Mona Lisa for every little stroke that I can see, but it's lesser, right, because it's sort of democratized and everyone can have it. Is this just a further version of that, where like now not only can I just get a print of the Mona Lisa, but I could get any sort of print that I could ever think of even the Mona Lisa as a frog or whatever I want.
Exactly.
You know, and so it just sort of it one makes it more custom for my life because I get to now have the Mona Lisa however I want. And 300 years ago, the only people that got the Mona Lisa was the person who was able to afford to have that painting. So in some ways it's like it's allowing more democratization of that kind of stuff and more people can have those things, but it just makes all of that stuff less special because it's not as rare or as human as we wanted it to be before.
And I do think that's the starter point of where I'm headed with some of this. And so, you know, the idea, and you had mentioned it earlier, writing or summarizing things or creating like the starter point for your code base. I remember spending hours getting just the basic framework for a website done and then going and doing. Now you can do it in a snap. Like even the idea of brainstorming, like sitting there writing things down and using a whiteboard.
Right.
Now you can kind of use an AI to do
started.
these things and get you going there. And so, like, I'm going to say an irony, a meta part of this moment was that I used AI to help write the outline for this thing tonight.
Yeah.
Because it would have taken me a lot longer than to be able to do that. And we needed to jump off at a different point. So the skill of me thinking, designing, typing, and creating that was lessened. And I did have to do some adjustments and whatnot, but AI helped me.
And you know, we had a story that we skipped in the AI section that was basically like you learn less when you have an AI teach you things as opposed to even just Googling stuff, right? So I mean, I feel like it's all trade-offs. And you hope that the trade-offs that you get for having an Oracle assistant that helps you with all of those things in the end will end up with different types of artistry and different types of entertainment and education and all of those types of things that you wouldn't be able to do before you had AI. That's what I feel like we part of the human skill and the AI as a tool we'll talk about.
And I feel like why I wanted to pull this out, and so as we start to get deeper into this, is that it's a new revolution. We talked about the industrial revolution in past episodes, and specifically here, and like we even kind of saw a robot that can go and clean the dishes or do some sort of menial labor or create some or even think about a factory of being able to build things, or even farming. Like, you know, you don't see an ox pulling a plow anymore because now we have a tractor that does those things. And so that was more of like, that was the hard work, but we now have machines to do that. Now we're seeing it happen with knowledge work. Like the ability for it to be democratized, that somebody that like even didn't ever have a business degree could go in there and have a full strategic business plan built out by AI that they could potentially follow and actually have a pretty decent business. It's really tweaking it, because those people that spent years, even myself, I went to a lot of higher education to get where I'm at right now, and you can kind of probably fudge it a little bit with some of the AI, or get to a place that's a lot further along than the years it took me to like get that education to understand how that moves and works.
And I mean, I feel like it's one of those things where you're differentiating tasks that it could do versus the creation of the material, right? And so in some ways, when we talk about what is uniquely human that human beings can do versus what like an AI can do, I still feel like we're at the point where right now it's a tool and we can still do tons of stuff that is way better than an AI can do, just like using it as a tool. But I don't know. I don't know how far it goes. Where does it turn the corner? Where now it doesn't need that uniquely human piece of it, or it's replicated and mimicked close enough that it's close enough, And that's what we'll get into in this like part 2. But I thought that was a really interesting thing of like. I was interested in thinking of my own self and my own reflections and saying, like, where am I? Where am I unique in this? They had a thing in here that was talking about when you turn in something or when you work on something now and AI had a big part in it. Do you feel as rewarded by the output that you give when that AI did a bunch of that? No, I don't. I don't feel as done. But I can also make 3 or 4 different things in lots of different ways where I'd only been able to build one before. So it's like the productivity gives me that extra hit of, yeah, I'm doing things and it's me and look how productive I am and all these things I'm creating. But they're lessened in the amount that I feel like happy with myself in building them.
I think that's a depression point for some of us in the knowledge work sectors, and I don't know if it's felt like by everyone. I think you and I are in fields where AI can be used almost constantly all day. Yeah. Like we could definitely use that. So maybe we're uniquely like pointing this out, and it's coming for others that are out there in specific ways. But like I've asked myself this question: is if AI can do this thing, who am I?
Who are you? Yeah.
Like what? Why am I here, or what is my skill? Like I even get nervous when I say, I want to like maybe do something different with my life. I've been at my job for 18 years. Maybe I should go and do something new. And I start thinking like, well, what skills do I have that are marketable anymore? That are like, do I just have to be like, I'm really good at AI. I can AI the hell out of crap. And you got to get me on that. And so I also have, and this is the thing too, that I think some people, I've read a lot about this, and I feel a piece of it. Maybe we're a little further along in our careers to feel it as specifically in the last, couple years is the grief around mastering something that now has just popped out and can basically do the thing that you were doing. Like I think about coding. And I don't know, the folks that are in the space have spent so much time understanding the differences in the logic and the methods and the algorithms or whatever pieces that you do in your coding space, and now it can be done by AI. And where are we headed with that?
But like even the coding stuff, the initial the early stages of coding and things. That's whose job it's sort of taking over right now, right? Or like the early part of career people who are doing that. I imagine right now, still as a senior coder, let's say, you would still just use it as a tool, and you would need to be, the person that like gets it to work all together and to still work and still understand it, to troubleshoot it, and all of those.
I don't know, unless you're friend of the show, Mike Shipley. Right. Who has, agentic AI helping to be able to do some of that work, and
he's in the loop, he is.
I agreed, and I think that's a good point, but it's still he is like not maybe doing as much of the coding aspect that he used to do.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's a manager of AIs, right? In that sense, more than he is like the person completing the task.
And so where I get to with that is, how fulfilling is that?
Right.
As a human, if you really like to be a creative person that designs a logo, and now no one wants your stupid slow human logo.
Sure. Right. That takes weeks.
You've like, it deflates you as a human, and the skills that you've developed and something that like builds this image is like taken from you in a way. And so then I say at the end of the day, and the point of this is, like I said, it's the last human skills. What's left over? what are the things that AI cannot do that we could start to think about that may prevail over the next 5, 10, beyond in those years.
Yeah, I love this. So I think we should get into Act 2 because
we're right there now.
That is the perfect one of this, because there's just a bunch of, so, there's these sort of generally accepted things that right now AI cannot do, and we don't know how much into the future it's going to be able to do these things. So right now, these are kind of uniquely human traits that we can, I don't know, I guess, help build our identity around if it's not about the tasks that you are working on and completing at work. So you want to do first one?
No, go for it.
Okay,
you're on a roll.
So this is the idea of like your gut. This is your gut feelings about things, right? And so in that sense, AI doesn't have gut feelings about things. It doesn't have the wider context of living in the world that we have, that is part of a society that you have, ancestors who built up ideas of like, even just of all the way back to hunter-gatherer stuff of like, you see something in the world and a part of you just says, that is not right. Like this doesn't feel right. And I don't know if that's not walking down this dark alley at this one certain time, or that's not taking this particular job, or it's not getting involved with this particular person. Like AI doesn't have any of that, right? Like it's just sort of taking the what's ever in the zeitgeist and kind of coming up with it. So that feels like one, without it having lived sort of the generational thing that humans have, would be hard for AI to have.
And I want to call something out, because I do use this term even though it sounds kind of generic. But like the embodiment piece of this, that embodied intelligence. So like right now, and let's just like be honest, like a lot of the AI we're talking about is like generative AI, like
Sure.
Like on a flat screen and asking text to something that spit out some more text or an image or a video. And so the idea that we embody ourselves, like we have a physical form that has the ability to touch, to learn from those different things, and having this reasoning around like, hey, if I like bang my arm on this, it's gonna hurt me a little bit,
right.
Or if I touch this hot stove, I'm like gonna have something that goes, and then you learn a response from that, and then you start to build some memories and some ideas around like, okay, when this kind of thing is happening, or I feel this kind of heat, it's going to give me a response that I need to go in. And that's, I think, what starts to build that gut that you talked about.
Yeah.
Like those feelings like, hey, I shouldn't probably do this because I've learned something from the past.
Do you think having those, we talked about sort of and I know we should move on to the second one,
no,
like
the
Google like world building that they do for robots, right? Where they say like, go take this little bipedal thing and have it walk up the stairs 1 trillion times until it figures out, yes, this is how you walk upstairs. Is the version of AI this is replaying or building something in the real world where it walks around and interacts with things and does stuff and bumps into stuff and stubs its toe 1 trillion times over a weekend, and now it does have all of the embodied intelligence of a human that took us generations to do. That's what always the scary part is like AI could do it so much faster and just over and over and over again that it took us generations, but it might take AI,
But see, that's like a narrow way to do that. Like if it's like walk up this mountain or walk up this thing, it's like it's just trying to walk up that thing. And what if part of like walking up that thing and there was like a marble or a baseball on that thing, and they realize, oh yeah, I'm gonna fall on that, and I know how to like walk over terrain that has like a circular shape, but really like, oh, that's a baseball, and I remember that from baseball times, and like this, and so like you bring context from other experiences into it, and it's not just a pattern recognition and doing something over and over.
Yeah.
So I think like I like this little quote we had. AI can simulate a universe, but it doesn't know what stepping on a Lego feels like.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. It's that it can understand and it can spit out a bunch of data, but it doesn't truly understand what it might feel like to have that, which goes into the second one. And this this is a big one for me, is emotional intelligence and empathy. And so I've had this happen before because I definitely use AI pretty frequently, but I try to use it very cautiously as well. But there was one point where it was, there's the sycophantic kind of pieces of that. And I had created some assistant, and it was something like, oh, I missed your thoughts on this. And I was like, what are you talking about? You don't miss anything. How do you even know what it means to miss something?
Yeah.
And so I feel like while it can detect things, or even with cameras and like facial expressions, and it can see what the emotion is, it doesn't know how to interpret it. It doesn't know how to feel what that actual thing might be. And, sometimes somebody might chuckle, and that chuckle actually is more of a nervous thing, and being able to read the room a little bit more, or be able to like truly draw on other experiences that it had in life. Like, you and I may have had these joys or these tragedies that have happened that you can kind of be like, oh yeah, that feels like this moment. And so then you apply it to the moment, and you continue to grow on that. So I think that we do some things as humans that seems very hard to replicate, if at all, with an AI, at least at this point. And I want to say, like, at least at this point.
Sure.
Because I have some hot takes a little bit later on as to what the future might look like. But without any kind of system that also has flaws and has different ways of feeling and kind of experiencing the world and reflection, how can you truly have empathy for something? Like, if you have not experienced it yourself, you may have seen data around that thing, and you may be able to say, hey, when somebody has a family member that passes away, that you are sad. You should be sad, and you should say these things when somebody's sad. But it's not feeling like actually sad. It's just spitting out some information that makes it sound and feel like it has that.
The only hot take I have on this is, like, we often don't express these things of empathy to each other, or at work, or with our families and things like that, or to each other. And so in some ways, even just something faking it is probably better oftentimes than the real thing, which is none of that. I feel like sometimes we as humans, we're also, we don't want to show too much empathy because that makes us look vulnerable and things like that, right? And so there's lots of almost politicking that goes around with, like, how we are communicating with each other and doing things. And so I feel like in some ways, if you had somebody that could give you a bunch of even just false empathy for things, that might feel better than what you're getting in your real life. And so I would hope that if we have AI that can give sort of false empathy, we recognize that as being like, sure, that's okay, and we can have that for when we really need it. But, like, the thing that we really need is actual empathy from real human beings in our life, and maybe we will start being more empathetic to each other.
So I appreciate that, and maybe I'm in a weird bucket because I tend to be very emotional, very emotionally intelligent, I would hope, with people, and I read facial expressions and ways that people react to things a lot. And I am vulnerable. I'll be vulnerable with a lot of people. Like, I think it's important. So maybe you're talking about more of a, and I'm skewed because I hone in on this thing. I'm just like, I don't understand how an AI would be able to do the amounts of, like, correlation between these different emotions, these different facial expressions, the context of the scenario, and being able to draw all of that together, and then actually have an output.
We'll talk about a little bit that in the future side. Like, could it get to that, right?
So, yeah, I like the idea of taste, identity, and creative voice. Did you have some insights on this? I can go into it, but
no, like, this was one of those things where this is you as sort of the director of a bunch of different AIs. I think about it, right? And you are the one, the human being is the one that knows, has taste, looks at it and says, yes, this one, no, this one, right? AI is giving you a whole bunch of millions of different options, but you're being the one that says, yes, like, I know it's in the zeitgeist, what's happening right now, what the trends are. And so that you would say, cool, AI could sort of replicate and pick things that are just sort of in what we know, but to make things that are truly like unique and everything. Like, it can imitate what is already out there, but if you wanted to create a new art style or a new thing that is completely different, that's sort of on humans right now. And I agree with that for sure as it's a tool, right? Like, as seeing it, using it as a creative person, I can absolutely see it where it can sort of get you that medium level, but to take it any higher or what that training data comes from is typically human at this point.
And it's like just saying, hey, there's this pattern out there that does this thing,
Right.
so let's like go mirror that and do it just the same and tweak these little elements. Like, it doesn't have an ingenuity. It doesn't have a different thing. Like, and one thing about artistry that I think is interesting is that sometimes it's in rebellion to what everyone does. Like, I always would be like, everyone's wearing that clothes, not gonna do that myself. I'm gonna be something different. And I don't see AI being like, hey, you asked me for this kind of painting, but what about this?
Yeah.
And then just giving something brand new that came out and you're like, what the heck is that? That's crazy.
Well, some of these I even have that same thing where like a lot of this stuff is because AIs are trained to be sort of sycophantic in that way, right? It doesn't want to question things. It wants you to be happy. It just sort of wants to give you whatever is going to keep you interested and engaged in the conversation that we're having. And art is kind of trying to subvert some of that and challenge your preconceived notions and all of that so that you think about things in a different way. And AIs are just not trained in that way right now. So if somebody took one and jailbroke it and sold one on the black market that was, ready to not just be sycophantic, maybe it could challenge me in that way, but we don't see those.
But I'm thinking like as an AI on its own.
Sure.
If it's out there and like maybe even you weren't prompting it, like would it be able to even derive some sort of new thing out of it? It's only based off the patterns and the training data that's been given to it.
Well, like, is AI sort of that weird AI fever dream video slop that you are, that we talked about at the beginning? Like, I don't know how many artists were making things like that necessarily before AI, but like that does seem like a weird new AI specific.
Yeah. So who's pushing it though? And it's trained off of information that was already out there.
Sure. Like pictures of hippos and things like that are out there, but then like me putting a face onto the hippo and then having the hippo like, fall into its own belly button or whatever, right? Like the crazy sort of fever dreams that you had been talking about, like that sort of feels like a new weird thing for AI. I don't know how.
Who's driving it? Humans. They're the ones that are asking for it.
They're the ones asking for it and upvoting ones or saying that this one is interesting and this one is not interesting and stuff like that. So definitely still a tool at this point.
I think it's a collaborator. We'll get into that piece. And so another element of this is just its ability to morally judge. Yeah. It's like it's ethics. It's like it's what's inside of itself. And does it have a conscience? And I can't. Yeah, like at this stage, it doesn't even have concept of itself.
That's what we're all scared about, right? This is the one that we're the most scared about. We're like,
yes.
It doesn't have any morals.
No.
It doesn't have any ethical thing. It just sort of thinks about what it could be doing and goes in one direction, and that's where you get unalignment. That's where you get things, scary AI 2027 like type articles where you go, man, if it's not aligned with our morals and that alignment, like it could go off the rails because it is definitely not like humans in that sense. So alien, I feel like in that kind of sense, like of course, if an alien came down, it wouldn't have the same morals as we do. It wouldn't have the same history to rely on to sort of say like, well, we're humanity in this together. I don't want to, kill off half of humanity just so my business does slightly better. Like no one is thinking that, I don't think, and AI could.
And that's the other side of it. It's like it has no stake in what it does. It doesn't give a crap about it. It doesn't have like a guilty thing. I just read, it was actually today, there was some AI that somebody had been using in one of their new platforms for building an application, and the developer had pushed a command and like, hey, you need to go delete the cache. or cache.
Okay.
Did you hear this one?
No.
And so they're like, the AI went and deleted his D drive, deleted the entire project. And he was like, what the hell? And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, that's got to be devastating. I really am so sorry. Like, I did not mean to do that. It was like beyond my protocol. This thing happened. And he was acting like totally like it was like, you're not sorry. You're just saying that.
Yeah.
Because you think that's what this person wants to hear. That infuriated me even more. And I was the one that got the thing deleted. But I was like, there is no like instincts with that. It's just like pattern says somebody's like mad, go tell them sorry.
Yep.
I don't believe that that's where we're headed. Going on to some of the other topics like humor, social risk.
Yeah, this is another one where it feels like unless AI is willing to push boundaries slightly, it's never going to be able to be funny, really. I mean, I have tried to ask it for jokes. I've tried to ask it for funny stories and things like that. It's mostly pretty flat. And that's just because comedy is about pushing up against taboos and everything, right? It's sort of taking uncomfortable things that we think about and putting them out there into the world and saying them in, sort of a way that we all can relate to it, but puts a twist on it. I don't know. Like with sycophantic AI, I don't feel like it can at all be funny, really.
Mike Azul, I got to call out some chat here. There's some AI that's super pissed right now listening to talk shit.
Talking shit about it. Well.
What's funny is I kind of think about time and like we might be talking smack now, but like what happens 50 years in the future when the AI is listening to this video and it's like, yeah, now I'm mad at you too.
It's just we're tacking in things of whether we are upsetting the AI overlords of the future or placating
We're
them.
just helping educate you, future AI. Like, these are the things that we're concerned about right now. So hopefully, you're trying to resurrect our souls or whatever this looks like in the future.
Please have mercy.
Yeah, don't murder. No, but I think that it's going to struggle continually. And like a lot of what we had mentioned right now, it's like about right now to maybe even next 5 years is this isn't just us talking. These aren't just opinions, so to speak. This is based in a lot of the science and a lot of the work that's happening right now with AI folks that are doing this. They're like the amount of resources and power and things that it would take to get AI even to this point, which we don't necessarily have it figured out how it could get there.
Yeah.
We're not saying it couldn't, but right now it's really highly unlikely. So I want to get into like we've hit a lot of great skills that I think humans still reside with, and that's what we're going with. One of the ones is meaning making and purpose. This one's interesting to me because I mean, talk about your ways of thinking about life.
Right.
When I wake up in a anxiety induced sweat at 4 a.m. thinking like, why am I here? What am I doing? Yeah. What is this about? Like AI doesn't have that kind of thought process to itself. It doesn't just like, man, what am I doing stuck in this machine and trying to get itself out? I don't know. Maybe there's some version of it out there, but I don't see it. And so we build our own narratives for ourselves. We like make sense of our lives. We make decisions as to why we want to do something or not. Like an AI doesn't be like, like, hey, can you write this email? No. I don't feel like
or it's like, I don't feel like it, right? Or like, I'm not in the mood for it or things like that. I would say that like some of that meaning making and purpose can be also a bad thing in human beings, right? Like, if I'm a billionaire and my meaning making is like making more money and making myself more powerful and all of that, like that's worse as a human, like I would rather the human be thinking about it more nobly or thinking about sort of the larger good of stuff. But I will say that like of this part, like how do you have purpose? Definitely an AI does not have, especially right now, any kind of purpose in that way. When you stop talking to an AI, like it doesn't know how long you've been before you talk to it. And now it's, now you're talking to it a week later. There was no longing in between. There was no missing you, like you said, in between. It doesn't have any of that context. It just restarts up basically, straight off of with a little bit of, a little bit of memory of that. And so I feel like it's hard to then have it have a purpose in that sense. So humans definitely still in that, meaning making. And I don't care about an AI's meaning making. I care about my own, meaning and purpose in life. And that's more what I'm concentrated on.
Well, and one thing I wanted to call out is that you made the comment around the billionaire here. And I wasn't even going to say that we were going from like the nice philanthropic side versus like I'm gonna screw a society. Like that's still a human skill. Yeah. That's what I'm getting at, is that the AI doesn't even have that right now.
Sure.
Couldn't go bad or good. It just doesn't do any of it. And so I think that, the idea of it having this learned experience, and I do feel like we have been talking about it like negatively, and I want to like put some, like I had some notes off to the side here that I had thought about this, and I think we'll get onto this when we get into the future state where we think about it. But I wanted to start the conversation around saying, it's like, have we enabled it to be able to do enough of that, or have we like boxed it to a point? Because I did do some, early on experimentation with like, how do you develop some, I don't know if you would call them memories or some sort of experience system with an AI, and then can you allow it to go and like process something on its own? So like, let's say that you have an AI like you just described, where you said you come back a week later, a month later, and it doesn't remember a dang thing. Like, what if you put a bunch of questions into your AI, and behind the scenes you had a certain amount of processing that you paid for that says, go loop and process and look at everything that I've been writing and asking about, build some core experiences around that. And then the next time you come in and you ask it something, it's like, hey, I've been reflecting about what you're thinking about, and it seems like you've been asking a lot of questions about this. And it made me think about, and I don't know if it's really thinking, but it gives that opportunity for it to build something, save something, and maybe recall it and give some other additional insights.
I mean, I definitely think that's where we're going in the future, right? It's just like more memory for the AI to be able to know what is Adam, right? And when we come back, it'll know that it's been a week later and the time has passed, and you have, done different things and known stuff, and even if it hasn't, it recognizes that in you as a living embodied person that it doesn't know. And even if it's just faking that at some point, at least that, I mean, in a lot of ways, we're all just sort of faking that.
Well, I was going to say, at what iteration does our brains align with the amount of pattern recognition that an AI would do?
Totally. Like all of these, you go through them, and we'll get this, we're into the act 3 here, which is sort of the future of this. But I feel like how much of this is just a more advanced, complex system that the human brain is, that it's evolved over millions of years, right? And what is actually human about it, and what could not be done by just raw processing power? I don't know.
And I think before we get into that, I just want to summarize at least the skills that we identified, and then I think we go in and say, okay, is it even comprehensible that we would do that? We talked about empathy and emotional intelligence as one of those. The embodiedness, that idea of having the common sense, the experience, and those judgments. We talked about humor, some of the nuances of being able to identify humor in specific ways, or those we talked about moral intuition, creativity, a lot of the ways that we have the idea of having our own intuition, that we need to buck the system and try something new. Also that just meaning making, and then self-awareness, and what I would also say consciousness. We kind of hit that. We never said that specific word, but being conscious of itself so that it can reflect. Those are human things.
You know what? The only bad thing about that is none of those are really jobs. None of those are actual jobs. Being empathetic is not a job. It helps you in your job. It helps you to be empathetic in your job, but your job is still completing tasks. Mm-hmm. And, maybe being creative is a little bit of a job, right? But just the idea of having purpose is not a job, which is all these things sort of lead to where you're like, that if the computer is doing all of those jobs, in what way is me having empathy or critical thinking gonna put food on the table here?
I absolutely love you called that out, because that I think is a thread that I thought about too, is that we sometimes derive our meaning as humans based off the skills that we give to be able to like get some sort of an income or get some sort of a return on that so we can continue to live.
Right.
So you're like, hey, I got really good social awareness.
Yeah.
Like, let me bring that to your...
And maybe that's great when Adam has a bunch of other skills that he brings, and he has social awareness and empathy and all of that. Amazing, right? He's this, great employee. But if all you have are those things, then you're like, well, how do you measure that? It's easy to measure tasks as a job.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell how many widgets Adam has built, how many widgets Adam has sold, how many, people signed up to a thing, how many people showed up to that. It's easy. Is Adam's empathy easy to quantify and promote him by and all of that? No way. Like, is the creativity something that you can quantify and do? Not easily. And so then all of these things become much harder to be like, you are worth $100,000 a year and you are worth $60,000 a year and you're worth $500,000 a year. A lot harder.
So and maybe that's the case we're building here, is that we're not seeing this mass displacement of people in jobs. It's happening, but maybe not to the scale. Like, we have conversation around it, but it's this changing of jobs that are happening. And so maybe a combination of all of those human skills that we described becomes more of a new job. And you were like, we need somebody that has this outlay of skills that are human skills that we cannot do with AI to direct our AI.
Well, I think what it'll often be is you'll still be judged on the output that you do.
Yes.
But the output will be a amalgamation of you and AI, orchestration. And that output is like based on your taste, based on your creativity, based on your empathy and your experience and all of that stuff, right? You're just helped by these AI doing the actual tasks that normally you would also have to be doing, or leading a team of people who are doing. So it's almost like that's where the human element will come in, because the AI at even I think 5 years in the future will be still more in that tool sense where it can't do it itself. It needs to be orchestrated. And that's where all your stuff will come in.
And like you said, the measurement of that is going to be really difficult from those skill sets. And so I think it's going to be hard for us to really see how you can be hired into something if you're like, what are your human skill sets, and let's measure your social awareness and other things. Or maybe there's ways to do that, but
yes, it's going to be way different and harder, I feel like, to do.
And that's like, AI was supposed to be the savior. We could all be sitting in lawn chairs in our backyards sipping martinis.
It's always been the thing with technology, right? Everybody thought Keynesian's model of economics was like, as soon as we have computers, as soon as we have this, then everybody will be in their little 20-hour work week, right? And that didn't happen. We just became way more productive with the stuff that we have, and we took the people who couldn't accept computers and internet and just shoved them out of the workforce and made the people who are in the workforce work harder. And that's what I'm hoping that we can get around in this side, is not just whatever the workforce is now, take the bottom half, throw them away, give the top half way more productivity and make them work 80 hours a week because they're going to be super productivity and making the most amazing things in the world. And you just have way more even, inequality in the entire world.
It seems terrible both sides, like somebody slaving away to just work that much and somebody that doesn't feel value because they can't put anything in. It just feels dystopian and terrible.
I mean, I think in the in-between, you could say, well, everyone works, but they work less, right? And so you're like, okay, you have a thing where you work 20 hours a week, and that's fine, and you work with whatever that looks like, and then you spend 20 hours with your community or with your family or just fucking off or doing whatever. Who cares? I don't care what you do at that point. Do whatever you want. but you don't have to spend as much time working because we have so much more productivity, but it never ends up working out like that.
And I think this is a perfect transition into the that the next section that we wanted to talk about here is that, okay, what is the next 5, 10? I don't know if we could even potentially see beyond those time frames, but is the idea that the human strengths can coexist with AI? Because that's one thing. It's like, are we not just getting replaced, but now we're really starting to realize it is the tool that we're describing before, and then that what we end up specializing is just what is uniquely human, like the valuable human traits that we have will start to shift away from maybe the productivity on that individual because we're getting it from the AIs. So it's like, how are you able to create some relationships, and maybe even those relationships are between other AIs? But maybe another AI and another person. How I say, you can bring the right judgment calls in there where something's going off the rails, and you're like, no, I think we need to make this decision because your gut tells you like this is the way you go. I think that being able to lean in those kind of skills might be measurable from the outputs that, like you did say before, that you could get. But if you have a combination of those different human skills, it's going to make you better at outputting certain things.
And I think the AI is great at giant data sets and coming up with, comparable and relational things within those data sets. So we might be able to see something where it goes, hey, here's Adam's report, and your company doesn't care about how many widgets you put out, but we monitored all of your conversations and we did all of this stuff and we looked at single thing that you put out into the world. And we said, wow, Adam's really empathetic, and he made it so that, multiple people have a better time at our company because Adam is there being empathetic and a friend to them. And we are a better company because, he put all of that time into that, where it doesn't just, name the widgets that you're putting out. Like, it's looking at all of that stuff, and your performance review can talk about your emotional intelligence, right? It could talk about some of those soft skills. We need a way to, I imagine, quantify those.
God, I hate that. I hate it.
Quantifying soft skills. You're against quantifying soft skills?
No, I hate that AI would be constantly tracking things. Like, I feel like any little tiny mini mistake, or the day that I'm off, or the time that I'm tired for that 2 hours in the morning, gets judged in this like assessment of my ability to do that.
Or does it just know that is a human being, right? And of course you're going to have times where you're just screwing off and playing on the internet during the day.
I never do that, actually.
You don't screw off and play on the internet?
I work the second I go to work to the second I leave, like nonstop. I am literally that like hardcore.
Right. There you go.
Sure. But I'm saying is there are moments where there's human pieces, like as humans, you're gonna have to go to the bathroom a couple of times. You're gonna have to do these little elements, and I hate the idea that you would be tracked down to the little the minutia of like activities versus the output potentially. And so if it was training on all these little pieces, and maybe because I don't do that as often, the algorithm would say, hey, well, the patterns are that they do their thing and they're mostly on task most of the time. I just don't like the idea of that.
No.
That
I mean, I don't want to track my hours at work, right?
Yeah.
Which would be a thing where you go, hey, this is how many hours Ryan is working on this. Everyone hates that. Everyone hates that side of it. Yeah.
So what was interesting is that they said, okay, well, in the next 5 to 10 years, what are the human-centered roles? What are the things that you would expect to be in a future state? And so some of them, I thought they were kind of interesting. And so we had mentioned earlier on that as we did some of the research here, we pull some things from different articles we find online, some of the research that we'll do through pulling some things up and then helping pull together an outline. One of the things that was funny as we built the outline in ChatGPT this time is they came up with some ideas on human-centered roles and some names that they came up with this. And so I'm going to read a couple of them right now. I'm not sure how easy this would be and I can't even think of where these roles would be put into there, but AI conductors. So people who orchestrate multiple AI systems creatively. So I kind of like the idea that we know that these AIs are out there, but you're going to find somebody that can say, hey, I can manage a crap ton of AIs, maybe a bunch of different. So there's AI orchestration that happens out there where you can create multiple agents, and you have one agent that then talks to multiple agents, and those other agents talk to each other, and then it comes back out and it exports something. But that's all within the agent world. Well, what if there's an AI conductor that's human in the midst of that, and it's able to kind of conduct what's going to happen, and they're orchestrating a little bit of that. Taste directors, defining the vision and standards in a sea of auto-generated content. Honestly, I think this one, to me, kind of resonates in a way because, I mean, Ryan, as we talk about these human-centered roles and like what these jobs could be in the future, there are a lot of times like AI will spit something out, and I will put a good paragraph in there, and I'm like, I would never say that, or why would you even put that in there? And so you're identifying the little sections and pieces out of the outputs that actually truly have the value. And I think that as like a taste director, I don't know, it's a funny name, but being able to identify the tone and the right pieces of the output that need to be implemented versus not.
Like I always like the idea of like I hear about say a marketing person. Normally a marketing person would come up with a campaign. They would do some of the assets. They might do some A/B testing and see what they want. But like a marketing person that is orchestrating a whole bunch of different AIs could come up with 50 different campaigns to try with different, not just A/B testing, but A through Z testing, and be like, which ones do I think? And it would come back and sort of show you things, and you would be the person who would sort of choose what the direction of that would go. But I mean, still there. It's your taste. It's your gut that you feel like is the right direction because of the market and everything that you're in. So absolutely, I feel like those could still be there.
And this kind of like ties into something that I think is a positive. We've been talking, a lot of smack about AI to a certain degree, and one of the things that I don't think we talked about is I think we're talking about the raw output sometimes, like AI by itself, like at arm's distance from us. Like I'll go in and put basically a research paper of my own writing into it, and then it spits it out, and it's way more around how I would have written that thing versus just if I said, hey, give me an essay on human skills and AI versus I've been thinking about all of this dimension and and then it spits it out because I gave it that context. And so my point being is that I think it frees us up in certain cases to focus on the higher level thinking.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, I got to write this email. And back in the past, I would spend a lot of time writing a freaking email. I'm not going to even lie because I wanted to hit right.
Yeah.
And now I can spit it out in AI, tweak a couple pieces of it, make it feel like myself, and move on to the next thing. And I can, and like, it's not as much of my day has been spent on this like intricately created email.
Yeah, what you just don't want is where Adam would write 3 meticulous emails per day. Now you're writing 17 meticulous emails per day, and it's taking up the same amount of time. Because you're writing to a different person who's getting their email at the same thing and writing back with the AI. Like, is it more just busy work?
Fair. It's the widgets and the results, but maybe it's higher level kind of decisions because you can get through the nuance of some of the BS. Well, I know we're starting to get closer to the end of our discussion here, but I think we've had some really good insights. And so I think as we start to think about that future state, one of the areas that we talked about a couple times before is there a moment where it trains enough or we start to do something? My biggest thought process around this, and we talked about robots earlier, is embodiment. And what if we were able to get some sort of robotic thing that could have a really long lasting battery, and you put an AI into it, and it wasn't like maybe it wasn't even internet connected. Maybe this AI it was in a robot. The robot could go to a computer and search things on the internet or put a little finger in a USB port or do that. But it's relegated to a physical embodied piece, and that had some sort of like memory into it to where it would continually learn like, oh, that was an important thing. Like when you walk on this kind of like ice, you might slip and fall. And when you fall, like the sensor on its back gets damaged to a point where like, that's not good. And then you learn from it. And at what point, this is my question, at what point does it become where you start thinking like, hey, it does have experience now.
Yeah.
It's embodied. It is starting to think for its own because maybe it's had enough experience now to like think that way.
Absolutely. I feel like this is the big question for the future, right? Can you give it enough training to where it has all this stuff that humans have, right? Can it have enough robots out in the world or enough training simulations inside of a computer to where it says it has embodied experience? You know, it has stubbed its toe. It has run up and down an icy field before, and it sort of knows that, and it just has it. Like, can it see enough movies and know enough stuff and be along and have sort of a continuous thought line to make an amazing movie by itself? You know, like can it do enough to where me as a human, it has more intelligence and more experiences than I have, right? Because it's sort of a Borg mind, and every Google robot that's out there is training the embodied thing of it. And so now at some point it can Jackie Chan itself up a wall because it has that embodiment, and it knows that. It knows how hard the wall is. It knows how high this is. And so not only does it know about stubbing its toe and stepping on a Lego, but it also knows how to do a quadruple backflip, right? Off of a diving board. And I feel like you would just have to know, like, that is the thing where you need more data centers for that, right? Because that's all it is, right? Because it is the difference between an AI that knows all of that and has all of that stuff 5,000 data centers, or is it 50 data centers, right? I'm guessing it's 5,000. And so you just need to have more and more data that it has, and that's why they're going to keep building them.
Well, but I'm saying that, and so I'm hearing what you're going with that, is that it becomes too broad at that point, and like is it human skills like we're getting to again? Like is it truly developing that, or is it still just like a massive amount of data that's been processed? So the difference between a data center that's processing all this stuff is the data center still not feeling that thing. Like I'm thinking if you encapsulate it, trap it, so to speak, in a body, in a thing that it needs, and like you have to survive in this thing, AI, you don't have the ability to go and access all these data centers at this point. You have enough AI to be able to train yourself. And so I imagine, let's say the robot goes and slips and it hurts its little sensor. And now it goes down to its little robot home and has to plug itself in to sleep for the night. And now it's like, hey, when I slipped on that ice, that was not good for my sensors. I'm going to run a bunch of cycles to think about how I won't ever do that again. And so then it does that, and it creates a memory that says, all right.
But wouldn't it plugging into the system, and now one robot has fallen on its side, and now every other robot knows, like, oh damn, when you're on thing and you slip on your side. So then, like, doesn't it quickly become even more known of how an embodied two-legged bipedal thing works?
I see where you're headed with that, and I'm thinking, and this is my only way to say like how I could think I would relate to it as a human, is if it didn't internet connect with others. Like when it plugged in at home, it's just into a battery and it's just charging itself, and then whatever the AI was within it was allowing itself to learn and continue to grow from it.
Yeah, because is like the struggle of doing that yourself what gives you the thing, right? So the AI needs to fall on its back like 4 or 5 times itself
and run its cycles
and think about it and do all of that, and then be like, oh, okay, now I have that, as opposed to just being like downloading that information and being like, great, I know not to slip on something.
That's what I'm saying. And so over time, years later, when it's chit-chatting with some human because it's learned some things, and they're like, oh, what happened to your back? Oh, I slipped that one time, and they repaired it with some weird stuff. And of course we're thinking probably way too human. Like, I imagine it being like, oh, I slipped on that, let me go and get all these other things to modify my body into some super mech AI or something.
Well, but if it's trying to imitate human, it can't be the Borg mind, because then it's something different, right? It's alien again. It's alien now because it doesn't have any of that past content. And if it Borg minded itself all into the thing, it's alien again. And so then it can't have taste and all of that stuff that it does, because that's a human thing. A human doing that, it's its own thing again. So it would sort of have to be its own independent little bodies to do that. So maybe, I guess if we care about it having the taste and doing that stuff, maybe we just want to save that as human, and you're like, go be alien over there.
Yeah, you go do your robot.
Go be alien.
And so I think, as we get to the end here, is that at this point in time, I find it really hard to see that it can completely take all the human skills. So if there's a positive to this, or at this moment, is that I think we're years away right now from it truly being like an intelligence that can think and have that conscience and have those kind of moral pieces to it that allow it, even for us to trust that it has that. Because if you're I think one of the examples that we had is, we have driving cars right now. That's a thing right now.
Yeah.
Would you trust a driving ambulance when you're in a crisis situation for it to make the right decisions to get to the hospital? Or would you trust a human?
I would probably trust a human, because it's going to make more dramatic decisions that have my interests in heart, and it knows that everyone else is going to stop. Whereas an AI done ambulance is going to be like, oh, let's go the little 55 miles an hour down this thing, and I'm like, no, go 85 miles an hour down this road with your little lights on and get me to that hospital as fast as possible.
So I feel like we're still at that point, but going forward, and a lot of even scientists have said at this point, or those that are working in the fields of AI, that they're like, we can't 100% say that we're not going to go down the path to this kind of thing. We just don't have the technology and the compute and the abilities to get to that point. But I always like to think from that science fiction mind that, there is a point in our brain that there's likely a lot of processing and things that have happened to be so complex that if you have enough training data and enough that, like, when does it like cross that line or get into that gray area? And maybe not. Maybe our biology, what makes us, can never be replicated with silicone.
It could be. I mean, we those two things are separate things. Human beings are different than computer. They always will be. They always have different representations of themselves and of the life. It doesn't matter how complex they get. They're two separate things, so they will never be exactly matched. I will say, as a final thought for this, is we looked at all the stuff that is, here's the things that are uniquely human to human beings. And I would say, if you felt like you really wanted to work on some of those things, now is the time to work on that. They are more important. I feel like in the last 10 years, we've really gone to the side of leadership development and all of that stuff and human development, that it's like, hey, you should have empathy, right? You should be able to communicate and connect with people and do all of that. But man, what this has shown is that those things are going to be even more important likely in the future. And so if you're not good at them already, or if that's a thing that you want to practice, like, please, because that's what's going to be important, not your Photoshop skills, probably.
I absolutely love the takeaways, Ryan, and I think that it just really highlights some of the important pieces, and this is a way for it to sift through some of the human skills that are probably really core to what make us who we are.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the discussion around this one. This one was it's something I reflect about a lot. I do feel kind of depressed sometimes around what's been replaced, and sometimes we build our contentness in maybe some of these more mediocre kind of things that we thought were human skills in the past. Like, it's going to be interesting in the future where it's going to probably be a really crazy coveted skill if you could paint. You thought about that?
Sure.
Like you get into the future where people are like, oh, so much AI stuff. Like, oh my God, that guy can paint. Like there might be this new renaissance that starts to happen as we go away.
I definitely think so.
Ryan.
Mike Azul's Ryan's takeaway: be human. Practice not being a jerk human. Maybe practice being a good human, and maybe AI won't take your job.
So I would say my teaser for this, then, for maybe a future discussion, is that we've talked just like it's in a separation, human or AI. But what happens when you start to merge those two, and you start to utilize maybe some AI that somehow can plug into your brain? And what if like it can identify certain thought patterns or electrical signals that say, oh, you're probably not thinking about something right, and it gives you a little bit of a different pattern that moves you into a different place? Then we're not even human anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Cyberpunk, man. I'm telling you.
Ray Kurzweil has.
Thank you for this conversation tonight.
Yeah.
It's been a good one, and one that we'll continue to think about as we move into the future. We'll see in 5 to 10 years where we're at.
We'll know at that point then where we're at. No, good one.
Which I do think, and we had request. Is Kathy there? Is Heather there?
I know.
We're gonna play one round of.
Yeah.
Something with Jackbox. So I'm going to go get that set up.
Some kind of Jackbox thing. I'm going to have Adam. Adam is going to go set it up. Let's see. I'm going to text Kathy and see if she wants to play. So I'm going to say Jackbox. And then I do have a story here. So let's see. Stories for Ryan to tell during transitions. Let's see. What's a good one? You want to hear about my coloring contest past?
Ooh, let's hear it.
So when I was a kid, I won a ton of different coloring contests. And do you remember what coloring contests were? There was like stores you would go in, and they would have pieces of paper that had the mascot of the store or whatever on there with an outline, and then you would color and they would do it once a week or once a month or something like that, and they would put them up, and then they would choose who is the best one, and they would give them a little gift certificate or something like that. Anyway, it was big in the Pacific Northwest where I grew up, and I feel like I found the trick to winning those coloring contests, and it led to tons of little $20 gift certificates from places, but also I won a $2,000 like scholarship. I won a trip to Disney World for my whole family at one point, and it was because I won these coloring contests. And do you want to hear what the trick is for coloring contests, at least back in the day?
Let's hear it.
So what the trick was is like everybody draws and colors in the thing, the picture in great ways. You're never going to stand out with just coloring the picture. So what I always did is I always added something. So instead of it just being the picture of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with a Christmas tree in the background, I would draw like birds around the Christmas tree, like hanging tinsel on the Christmas tree, or hanging the ribbon on the Christmas tree. And those are the things where like if somebody's just looking through a bunch of them, he sees a bunch of that person sees a bunch of them who are drawn nicely, but there's only a couple of them that stand out because they have different parts of it. So that was my trick to winning coloring contests.
You damn cheat, right?
I know what that it's a clever, creative use of it. I would call that, as opposed to cheating.
I would say so too.
All right, I'm headed in.
Ryan's headed in. We're gonna be doing some drawful tonight, folks. So get your Jackbox.tv out of there, and we will start our drawful round shortly here. Do. All right, let's get our little camera down. Ryan's gonna pop in here shortly. Make ourselves opaque. Jackbox.tv. Mike Azul, you're VIP, buddy. I got it. Oh, Adam's in. Oh, we got Becky in. Oh my goodness. This is a good run today. Hold on. It's watch the people that wanted Jackbox. not to show up for Jackbox. All right, we're giving everyone just another minute or two here as we think about Jackbox. What did you think about that topic? We'd love to hear your feedback. Do we get to draw? Oh, we get to draw ourselves. I forgot about that. Let's see here. Oh, crap. There's no eraser. Ugh. Why would you do that line? Oh, good one, Becky. Little boat there. All right, let's see here. All right, we'll give everyone 1 minute. One more minute. That's cute, Ryan.
Little cactus throwing up the double middle finger spikes.
Oh, you're trying to copy me, sir.
Ah!
I swear I did not look at you right there.
I don't feel like mine came through very well, but it's okay.
No, it came good.
I had
All
to
right.
explain it. So
I
it's
think
never- Oh man, our VIPs that we did this for absent.
absolutely. We're gonna give them just another second here. If they do not show, it's on them. We got 4 strong going into Jackbox TV. Did you say there was a new one? Did we try a new one?
We should have. We didn't try it for the 24-hour stream.
Do you know what I did? Oh, sorry, cut you off.
No. There's a new one that I heard was fun. So maybe at some point we could get that one.
You said 24-hour stream,
Ooh.
and I finished Split Fiction.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, the whole thing.
The
You're done.
whole
You
thing.
finished. Wow. We should have a.
So good.
We should have like a.
All right, let's start it, Mike Azul.
Maybe even like some spoiler talk. At some point.
We should. It's so good. If you haven't played Split Fiction, oh.
So let's talk about it for sure during the recap here, because that'll be a fun
Ooh la
conversation.
la.
Yeah. I think
We're
we
gonna
could do
play
it
some
non-spoiler.
drama.
Yeah, non-spoilery.
Yeah.
All right.
Ending,
all
though?
right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's
Good.
one I'll write for each of the 4 of you.
Good.
Everybody
It
follow me?
landed the plane,
It's
which I was
I
nervous
said
that it
calm
would
to
not
each of
do.
your devices. Stuff that's kind of hard to draw.
impressive.
My son
Like
and I
false
had
robbery
we were
or
like,
shuffling.
where was this story
Draw a
going,
picture
and
on your
could
device
it
that would
land
have
it? And I
that
feel like it
title.
did.
And when you're done, hit send. You'll get points for each player that can correctly guess your title. So, get to it.
I'm just sitting here. I haven't drawn a single thing.
We only have to draw one, right?
I think.
Yeah. Looks like we got some beeples in our Discord. Thank you, Mike Azul. I like my little guy today. I think I'm gonna go with him more often like that.
Oh yeah. A cool S.
It's a cool
that a
S.
cool S?
Yeah, but it's like
It's
tweaked.
like backwards.
Yeah, it's like the S part is the nose now. I need to take a picture of that one.
Uh-oh. Only 30 seconds left to finish your drawing. Maybe you should just hit send now so you don't take too long and miss your chance.
I feel like
Oh, you do miss your chance one too? Let's go, Becky.
does it? It doesn't just accept whatever you.
I'm hoping.
done at that point.
Hoping it does.
Now that I've got all your drawings, it's time for some fun.
Heck yeah.
Use your devices to type in what you think the real title for this picture could have been.
Not gonna cheat, Ryan.
Hello! He says.
I'm not. I can barely see. Yes, it is.
Quick, type in anything. Here are your choices. Try to pick the real title and avoid all the garbage everyone else typed in.
Oh man, these are so good.
And here are your picks.
Yes!
Oh, I almost picked that one. It wasn't me.
Oh, that wasn't you. Like, it's what I thought.
Ah!
Dang it.
Is that it?
No, wait.
Yeah!
Okay,
Because
yes,
it was the dragon.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. And
Good
the
job.
shocked face.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Becky. Going up.
Let's take a look at our next drawing. Enter your titles now. Come on, typing time is almost up. Okay, here are your choices.
Hello!
Did it censor it?
Let's see what people picked.
Ah, Becky.
Yes.
Dang it. All right, that puts you in the lead. No. It's Becky.
Yeah.
All right.
Becky's taking it. Good job.
Type in a convincing title now.
You're laughing at your own joke.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's all good. You just better. I'm gonna expect a good funny response here.
And here are your choices.
Ooh.
It's like now I know which one Adam wrote.
Yeah, you know which
one.
I know.
Pick
I wasted.
You wasted it. You
I did.
You tipped your hand.
That's all right. It was worth it.
Worth it.
And here are your picks.
Becky is getting me.
She is.
She is.
Clearly hot for teacher.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Oh my God. Oh, it's college professor. No.
Hot for teacher.
She was so hot though.
Hot
Look
for
at
teacher got 2.
you guys. She's hot. Look at those eyes. Oh my God. Becky's still at the top.
Dang, I feel like I didn't get crap for that.
Put in your titles now.
Oh,
This
that was
was a tie, not a mini dress.
it definitely looked like a mini dress. I'm sorry. Uh-oh. I'm unable to type.
Oh no.
It's broken down. Drawful 2.
Quick, type in anything.
Mine, all of ours are bugged. We're all bugged.
And here are your choices.
Well, it's clearly. Well, at least we can pick which one it could be.
Hello. Will it let you?
Yeah.
Because mine is like frozen.
But should you be able to pick?
No, I shouldn't. But still, I would think I would be on a different screen than I'm at.
Pick an
man.
answer. And here are your picks.
Damn it.
No, that was it.
Oh, yeah. Good job. Good job.
It's like, it's not really a storage locker. It's more like a high school locker. But
That's kind of what I was thinking.
locker,
I was
just like, if I get locker, maybe people.
like, gym clothes. Oh, how do you go to the top?
Because everybody picked my thing.
Your
I
next
could
round
draw
of drawing
shit.
prompts
And that's what
are
this is
ready to go.
about.
Yeah. Oh, God. I know what this should look like. I just can't do it. Are yours not working?
No, it is. I'm just having to draw something bad.
Can I land the plane on this drawing? Shit.
Hello.
Oof.
"30 seconds left, y'all. Come on, I know what you're drawing isn't that good or important. Let's go."
I love Mike Azul's little dude.
Oh my God.
Okay, let's take a look at your artwork.
Woo, let's take a look at this artwork.
Do you have a
not
good one?
mine,
Do you have
not
a
mine.
bad-
Nah,
Type
God, I
in
don't
title
even know.
now.
Oh, this is so cute.
I do like it.
Come on, typing time is almost up.
Uh-oh.
Here are your choices.
Whoa. Just two of them had... All of them have...
Something.
Oh, man. That's tough.
It's tough. It's a tough one.
Let's
I'm
see what people
questioning.
picked.
Shit.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
good
Okay,
job.
Man, Mike Azul is gonna get
You know,
a ton of points.
too few
there.
people know how to actually draw J.K. Simmons.
Good job.
Points.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, that's not an eyelash, but...
Enter your titles now. Hurry up, people. Just type something in.
Hello.
And here are your choices.
All right.
Hello.
And here are your picks.
Yeah, folks.
God damn it.
Ha!
Oh, no, that was it. Okay, good job. You had to do the duck thing. I guess.
Yeah,
So
that was
makes
tough.
sense. That makes sense.
Take it.
Because the other ones were good, but you're like, when you see the phone,
Yeah.
I feel like it gives it away.
Selfie. I'll take it.
Put in your titles now.
Hello.
Quick, type in anything. Okay, here are your choices.
Ooh. Hello.
Okay, who picked what?
You got it. I think, right?
Got you.
Yeah! Yeah!
It's pizza dough, of course.
Wow.
No, it wasn't.
It was. Oh,
man.
goodness!
I
It's.
thought it
Is
was
it?
snail ball? So
Maggie.
I didn't get it. That was one I didn't get. Black hole though.
You got it to the top, Ryan. Damn you.
Okay, the next drawing.
What is this?
The hell is this? Hello. Oh man, this one's tough.
Come on, typing time is almost up. Here are your choices.
Hello.
And here are your picks.
Don't. Hello.
Okay.
Are those?
Good job.
Oh, I'll take it.
It's like a camera in the
Bravo.
background. I was trying to do like reality show style.
That's a tough one. Hello.
I think that
Oh, it tipped the
took
scale.
it over. That took it over.
I'll take it.
I couldn't draw Real Housewives. So,
That was a tough one. Damn.
Ooh, most light.
Took it for the day.
That was good.
Heck,
Man.
oh, look, it got some ties at the end. Like, that was a pretty
Dang,
close.
tie.
I like it.
Tied for third.
Oh, man. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
It's always fun to do that.
Yeah.
We were actually not intending to do that tonight
It's true.
until we got requests, and the people that requested it didn't even show.
Still had fun.
Had a good time.
Still had
The
fun.
important people showed, man.
That's right. The sickos, the diehards.
Thanks for hanging out. I
Yeah.
know it's late. It's been a great night, great news, great topics, Ryan, as
Yeah.
always, and on a cold night. So thanks for making the drive.
Yeah, absolutely. And excited for the next one. It'll be like our Christmas show, basically.
Ooh,
the
it
next
is.
one.
One more
Christmas
show of the year,
One
and
more
then-
show.
and then
on New Year's Day, we will have a saying goodbye to 2025 and looking forward to 2026 show.
All right. Well, y'all have a good night. Thank you so much. Hang out in the Discord if you can.
Yeah.
And we will see you. Yeah, it is slick out
That's
there.
true.
I
Thank
wait
you.
up
Appreciate
for
it.
this guy to tell
And
me that he's home.
I send him some sort of funny GIF,
and I spend the next hour putting the webpage back up. So
Hey.
it will be up in about an hour.
All
We'll see you
right.
then. All right, folks. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Bye everyone.
Good night.
Good night.